happy Saturday. I believe it's Saturday for everyone. So today we will be starting off making rye bread. I'm Elisa, by the way. Nice to meet you. For those of you who don't know me, today we're going to start off making rye bread. I'm making 100% rye bread, which is different than the rye bread we made a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. At this point, we made a rye bread that was, I believe, 30% rye. Hi, the Bear fan. How are you? Good morning. Hi, okay, Mom. Good morning. So the 100% rye bread is quite different. And then after we're done mixing the rye bread, we're going to finish the hot sauce that we started last week. If anyone remembers, last weekend we made, we started fermenting peppers. And this week we're going to use those fermented peppers to make hot sauce. So let me show you what we have so far with the rye. Here's our bread can. Okay. So you didn't see me do this because I did this part last night. With 100% rye bread, we're going to want a large pre-ferment. So this is 120 grams of sourdough starter mixed with 200 grams of rye flour and 200 grams of water. And boy, this is, it smells good. It's pleasantly sour. This bread is going to be way more sour than the standard loaf. Even the 30% rye, this is going to be way, way more sour. And I actually have one here to show you what it looks like at the end. It looks like a giant cookie. The Bear fan says, is the flour and water always equal or dependent on the starter? I try to keep it equal in this case to keep it easier. But in terms of the pre-ferment or the levain, I kept it equal. But my starter is actually not equal. My starter that's right now, I think it's on the windowsill right now actually, it's 2-to-1. So it's more flour to water. So I keep it stiff to keep it more active. So if I feed it, I'll feed it 100 grams flour to 50 grams water. But for the pre-ferment, I just wanted to keep it easy to remember what to do. So I just did 200. You want a large pre-ferment for the rye, for the 100% rye, because it will improve the texture. So that's why we have this. And we're going to bake it today. We're going to finish it today. So this is what it looks like. I baked this one yesterday. I didn't cut into it yet, but we can cut into it today when we're done. Or when we're almost done, we can cut into it and see what it looks like. So it's going to look like a giant cookie, but it is rye bread, I swear. And it's not, as you can see, it's not that great for sandwiches because of the shape. And also the texture is a little different. If anyone's had 100% rye, you know what I'm talking about. Chisel said, is that a cookie or a loaf of bread? Ah, you beat me to it. Hi Chisel, how are you? Welcome to the chat. Welcome back. Yes. It looks like a cookie, but it's a rye bread. Okay, it's rye bread and it isn't sweet, but it's delicious. Either the Bear fan says either way, gimme. It's sour. So if anyone's had rye bread, especially sourdough rye, you know what I'm talking about, and I'll show you today when we cut into it what it looks like. So, but let's start baking. Let's start. Okay. Move my computer. There you go. That's a good shot. Okay, so what are we doing? Good question. Good question to myself. So first we're going to add water. So I'm going to do 250 grams of water. This dough is going to be really wet. Okay, that's because the rye flour absorbs a lot of moisture. That's okay. We're not going to touch it that much. The dough is going to be sticky, but we won't touch it that much. Okay, so we're gonna do 7 grams of salt. And then I'm going to mix this. See that texture? It's so rye. Rye flour. So rye flour does not have a high gluten content. Chisel says it looks good already. I guess it looks like porridge. If you can pretend this is oatmeal, it looks good. But it's not. So don't eat this. It's very like kind of not all together. You can tell rye flour doesn't have a high gluten content, but that's okay. That is okay. Chisel says, I think a lot. The bear fan says everything in food looks like unfinished art until it's done. True. But I want to just, you guys might not remember, but it does look a lot different than previous loaves. The dough, even the dough. So I'll show you too when we put the, this is my rye bucket. You guys can't see it. It's not in the frame. This is my rye bucket. Okay, we're going to add 300 grams of rye. Yeah, it's a bot. I'm going to ignore the bot. Okay, so 300, that's what I said. And that's what I'll do, hopefully. The bear fan says, where are you, Brooke? I don't know if Brooke's going to come. She wasn't feeling well. I don't know if she's feeling better. Oops. Don't make a mess. Okay. Yeah, I think still, I'm not sure. Maybe she'll come later. All right, containing my mess. Then we're just going to mix. So for this bread, like I said, rye doesn't have a lot of gluten. So we're not even going to try to build the gluten. Not even going to try. We're not going to do stretch and folds. It's a waste of time. We're just going to mix it. We're not going to knead it either. Super easy. That's crazy. Okay. So you see it's like a sticky Play-Doh type texture. I'm going to keep mixing because I see some dry spots still. So I'm going to mix until there's no dry, or at least no dry spots I can see. The bear fan says, what is the finished product with and without building gluten? There's like, it's very low gluten. So it's going to look like this. Chisel says, looks like a giant cookie. Yeah, it's flat because there's really not a lot of gluten in this flour. So this is what it looks like. It's actually, I don't think it's just finished, but the bear fan, building gluten will not make it rise. What you could do is you could put it into a sandwich tin You can put it into a sandwich tin, and that it'll make it rise just because it has walls. The walls help it keep its shape, so it'll rise a little bit more. But I don't think it's just Finnish. But there's a Finnish bread that I'm pretty much imitating here. I forgot what it's called. I don't think I can pronounce it. But it looks just like this. It looks like a giant cookie. And it's really cute. I think it's cute. If you want a sandwich bread with rye, I actually have a rye sandwich bread recipe. We did it together on stream. Yeah, the Bear Fan, this rye I'm going to use on my can you guess? What is it even called? It's a cast iron, but it has a name. It's a bread pan. I'll show it to you again, but you could do it on a sheet pan too. But yes, if you want to do a sandwich bread rye, I have a recipe on my blog. And it's also one we did together probably like a month ago, a while ago. And we can even do it again one day because it's pretty popular. People seem to like that one. Yes, I like pumpernickel. So the rye flour I'm using is wholemeal rye. So it is kind of like pumpernickel. Pumpernickel and rye are very similar, if not the same thing. So yeah, if you look on my website and look under recipes, you'll see the rye, the sandwich rye. That one's like a deli style, like a New York deli style rye, and it's really, really good. If you want sandwiches. Okay, this looks good. So see, it's just like a blob. Okay, it's like sticky blob. I don't know how I can tell you how weird the dough is, how different it is from like what we're used to doing. But we're gonna leave it like that. Okay, we're gonna leave it like that for an hour. And then we're going to come back to it, and then we're gonna shape it and get it right onto the silicone mat to rest for another hour or two. And then we're gonna put it right in the oven. So it's really quick because most of it's already fermented from last night. Chisel says, I heard of that movie, The Blob. It's like The Blob. The Blob is a great movie. Everyone should watch. Or The Thing from Outer Space. Or my favorite is actually The Thing. I actually really like The Thing. Not even any shade to The Thing. Okay. I'm going to cover it up. Move this over. Making a mess. Okay. So while that's waiting, that's resting, while we're waiting for that to rest, we're going to do our hot sauce. So I have everything right over there. Shizzle says they're all good. I have no favorites. The 80s remake of The Blob, that's not The Blob, The Thing. The 80s remake of The Thing is really good, and I'm not even being ironic or liking it because it's silly. It's actually just really good. So the 80s remake of The Thing, if you haven't seen it, watch that. Last time someone took my movie recommendations, though, I think I traumatized him. So just be careful with my movie recommendations. What did I tell him to watch? Hereditary. I told one of you to watch Hereditary. And next time he came back, he said he was traumatized. So, although I don't think The Thing is as traumatizing as Hereditary, in my opinion. So I have everything that we need right over here. So I'm just going to get it. Welcome to the chat, Sardonic Sage. Ooh, nice name. Welcome to the chat, Sardonic Sage. Feel free to introduce yourself. If you like to be called something else besides Sardonic Sage, let us know. If you like baking, if you don't like baking, if you like cooking, and let us know that as well. Sardonic Sage says the stuff is like the Blob, but it looks like marshmallow and people eat it. It's a great 90s hard cheese. I don't think I've ever seen the stuff. Is it like fluff? The stuff is like fluff? I'd have to look that up. The stuff. Okay, so what do we need first? Yeah, first I'm going to show you the peppers. So I'll get that first, and then we'll move on from there. Okay. Okay, Sage, I'll call you Sage. So, this is the crock we used to make the peppers in. We fermented them last week, so we started this last week on stream. So I can show you what's going on in here. Oh, look at that. It's a texture of fluff kind. I'm going to take some of this out, but I want to show it to you actually. That's cam yeast. It's totally okay, but see, it happened because the peppers floated up to the top. It's not mold. Mold is fuzzy, and this is like yeasty. Like it looks like when you put a yeast packet into the, like if you put a yeast packet into water, it kind of gets bubbly like this. This is yeast. So just be careful. Once you ferment more, you'll get used to like what is what. But this is yeast, and it happened because the peppers floated up to the top. I also opened it yesterday to check on it. I shouldn't have opened it. Yesterday when I checked on it, there was no yeast, and today there is. It probably happened because I opened it. The Bear fan said yes, canned yeast. That's what it is. So it's not unsafe, but it is like not the best. I'll put it right here for now. I won't use it. I'll dump that out. So it's not the best tasting, but it's not unsafe. But honestly, it doesn't smell bad. Sometimes it's when it gets too much yeast, it smells weird, but it's fine. So that's okay. The Bear fan says it's safe, but can cause issues over time. Like if you eat too much of it, maybe? Is that what you mean, the Bear fan? Or do you mean it will, it could ruin the pickle. Like if you leave it there, like if it was too much yeast, it would like get a bad texture and get slimy and gross. So you have to be careful of that, especially in the summer. But these look fine. See, they look good. I'm not going to eat one because I think they might be too spicy. But we're going to make this into hot sauce. The Bear fan says no, eating it safe. As like you say, you see no mold. Yeah, be careful of mold. I've never had mold on my ferments, but yeah, mold is bad. Mold is fuzzy. Sometimes it's a weird color. But you'll get used to like what is what if you ferment more. But it's okay. What we're gonna do is we are going to blend this. You see me looking around, I'm like, wait, what are we doing? We're gonna blend this. Okay, we're gonna blend this with some vinegar, and then we're going to cook it down to make a hot sauce. Okay, and you know, we're cooking it and adding vinegar, that's gonna further preserve it, so you'll be okay, and then I store it in the fridge. The Bear fan says most of that is the process. As the product absorbs the liquid, it makes air in the jar. Yeah, that is what happens. That is what happens. So in the fermentation process, the bees, okay, are forming, it's actually forming bacteria. Okay, but it's forming good bacteria. And the good bacteria keeps the bad bacteria away, right? That's why you have to add salt to it. If you don't add salt to it, then you're gonna get mold problems. But you want to keep it in a sealed environment, which this thing does a good job of sealing. And that's going to keep the mold away as well as the cam yeast away if you keep it sealed. But I did open it yesterday. Yesterday when I checked on it, there was no cam yeast, and today there was. So it might be because I opened it. Also because some of the peppers floated to the top could also be a problem. So just be careful of that. But it's not really a big deal. So I'm going to get let me move this. And they're so pretty. Let me get the blender, because that's what we need next. We need the blender. Our handy dandy Vitamix. And I have vinegar in here. I've had pickles ruined by canned yeast, so it's not a big deal. But like the Bear fan was saying, if it gets like a lot on the top, it'll ruin the taste and the texture of the whole pickle. Like I said, it'll become slimy. It'll taste yeasty. But if there's a little bit, it's fine. So you can smell it and taste it to tell. Maybe I will taste one for you guys. I think it might be too spicy. Let me see. It's a little too spicy, but it tastes good. It's not yeasty. So you can use these as like pickled peppers. If and they're probably not that spicy if you use it as a condiment. So I just ate one by itself. But if you use it like a condiment, it's probably fine. My face is getting red. I'm like, oh, it's too spicy. Like if you put it on, like a little bit on something else that absorbs some of the flavor, like a sandwich or pasta or something, noodles, it'll be fine. So I'm gonna put it right in here. Not even gonna strain it. It's like pickled jalapenos, basically. If you've had pickled jalapenos, it tastes similar to what I just had. I'm gonna have to get my hands in there. Sardonic Sage says, I'm tracking up over you struggling with that tiny pepper. It's a little spicy. It's not too spicy. Like I said last week, these peppers, they're Fresno peppers. So they're not too spicy, but they are still spicy. Like probably the similar level as a jalapeno. And I wouldn't eat a raw jalapeno, so yeah. The Bearfin says, my buddy that had been working under for 15 years makes the best pickles. That sounds good. What kind of pickles? Like, does he just make the cucumber pickles, or does he make other types of pickles? I love cucumber pickles, but I also love pickled jalapenos. I love pickled beets. Sardonic Sage says, I don't need anything fancy. My pickles just garlic and dill. So like cucumber pickles with garlic and dill. Delicious. Everything. He's the exec chef for a famous hitching post for over 35 years. So he pickles everything. You can pickle that. That's my motto. You can probably pickle it. Okay. So now I'm going to get the ones that were underneath the weights. It's okay if the liquid gets in because I usually add a little liquid anyway, so the liquid has a lot of good flavor. It's like pickle brine. Pickle brine has a lot of good flavor. I don't think I've had pickled eggs or pig's feet, and I probably never will, so. Pickled egg I kind of get. Pig's feet I'm not so sure. I think I almost have it all. Let me see. Just kind of scraping up the bottom. A little bit of stuff from the bottom out. Sardonic Sage says, the first time I saw those sitting on the counter when I went down south, that was a culture shock. And the Bear Fan says, maybe in some kind of salad, but just plain old hard-boiled pickled egg. No, thank you. Sardonic Sage says, I tried a 1,000-year-old egg and almost got sick. I don't think I've ever seen those at the grocery store, even in the South, but maybe I didn't look hard enough. It's fun to go to grocery stores, though, like in different places, and you see that they sell different things. That is fun. Chisel says that's a long time. Yeah, so what's a 1,000-year-old egg? Is it pickled? Can you tell, if you don't mind, can you tell us what it is? Sardonic Sage says you can only get those in Asian markets. Yeah, it's fun. Like, I always talk about going to different markets and seeing what they have. I want to do a grocery haul one day with you guys. Sage said it's just the name. It's not that old, but it might as well be. Yeah, is it pickled though? Like, how do they keep it for so long? Is it like fermented? Is it pickled in vinegar? What's going on with that egg? All right, I'm almost done. I'll just get the little bits here. I'm kind of like picking out like the small parts at this point. The brine smells really good. Which means that the cam yeast didn't really get in the brine. And like I said, and I'll say it again, and last week the Bear Fan mentioned this, so I don't want to take credit. He asked, can you use this as like a relish? He mentioned like a Italian relish that was similar to this. And yeah, you don't have to make hot sauce. You can eat it like this if you want. But we're making hot sauce. All right. At this point, I'm just picking out like little pieces, but yeah, that's fine. Sage says, never mind, this is how it's made. Chinese dish made by preserving duck, chicken, or quail eggs in a mixture of clay, ash, salt, quicklime, and rice hulls for several weeks to several months. That's so interesting. So it's not pickled. Okay, it's a different preservation method, though. The Bear Fan says maybe take a little bit of it of the to add some olive and carrot would make a yeah. Yeah, if you mix it with something else, like if you didn't have just peppers, it might be better if you don't like spicy because it's a little strong right now. But once we cook it down, it won't be that strong. The bear friend says, I would rather try that than a balut egg. What's a balut egg? I don't know these things. I don't know these terms. Okay. 1/2 cup of this vinegar. This is just plain vinegar. Oh, I've seen that. Is that also Asian? I think I've seen that. Not in person, but in videos. So the bear fan said fertilized developing egg embryo that is boiled or steamed and eaten from the shell. All right, we're just gonna blend it. It's so easy, guys. Sage says about the balut egg with the embryo, says yeah, it's a Southeast Asian thing. Who knows? Maybe if I grew up with it, I would not have a problem with it. Yeah, but it's pretty gross in theory. And the bear fan says all my Filipino friends had it in their house. Okay. Yeah, I mean everything's a matter of perspective, right? But yeah. Can you guys see it? I'll show you on the other cam. Let me move this. That's why we have the hot sauce can. We're not done with it yet, but I want to show you at this stage what it looks like. And I'm making a mess, that's all right. So that's what it looks like now. You can strain it at this point. It's on my hand. You can strain it at this point. But I'm not going to. I'm showing you the really lazy way to do this. I'm not going to strain it. I'm just going to cook it. The seeds are not really visible anymore since I blended it on high for a few minutes or for a minute and a half. The seeds are not visible anymore, so it's not really a problem. But what I am going to do, before I get the stovetop cooker out, I'm going to wash my hands and then just wipe down the table real quick, and then we will start cooking. Okay, so I will be back in like a minute. So see you guys in a minute. Probably missed you, Chisel, but bye, Chisel. Get some sleep. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us before going to sleep. All right. So I have this set up now. It takes a little while to heat up, but it is on. Hi, Paper Paws and Whiskers. Welcome. We're making hot sauce now. Okay, we got the hot sauce cam going over here. This is just heating up. You never get the angle right. You can still see it though. This is just heating up. And then we're going to put our hot sauce in. And just, pepper, just heat this up. We're going to create, what's that called? Coughing gas. Yep, we're going to do that. But yeah, so it's super easy to make hot sauce. Okay, I like to make fermented hot sauce, but you don't have to. But for those of you who weren't here last week, we fermented the peppers in here. So last week we started the fermentation. That took a week. And now we have the fermented peppers and we blended them with vinegar to create this. And now we're just going to heat it up. We're just going to cook it down a little bit to thicken it, and then just to, it also lowers it improves the texture, but it also improves the taste by lowering the amount of heat, like spicy heat. And then we're just going to put it in little jars. And then we're done. So after that, we are going to work on our rye bread. Oof, it's heavy. Which is right here. It's fermenting right now. That should be done soon, actually. So once we're done with the hot sauce, we'll work on that. Yeah, so when you cook peppers, when you cook spicy peppers, you actually lower the heat of them. The same thing when you ferment them. So we did still coughing. So we had two processes of lowering the spice. We fermented them, and then we're going to cook them. And we're going for a hot sauce that is not too spicy. Like, these aren't cayenne peppers, they were Fresno peppers. So we want something that's spicy, but not too spicy. We want something that you can put a lot on. That's the dealio here. Kind of more like sriracha, where it's like a spicy sweet. So we're going to lower the heat of the peppers. If you want, you can use it just like this. It's a little thinner and it'll be spicier, but you can use it like that. A lot of people do. A lot of people use it like this. So because we fermented them, and a lot of people ferment things for their, what is that called? Like probiotic use for health purposes. And when we heat it up, we're going to actually kill a lot of the probiotics. So if you're worried about that, if you wanted the probiotics, you can use it like this. I don't care. I eat a lot of fermented foods, so I'm not worried about this thing having dead probiotics. So I can feel that it's hot. I'm going to put it in. Try not to make a mess. Ah! I failed. I made a mess. Okay. It looks good already. Look how red. Yeah. Today's a messy day. Today's a messy hot sauce day. Okay. Yeah, it's the same color as my pot. Very red. So we just cook it down until, see, what time is it now? 9:53. So I'm gonna keep track of that. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. Let's see how long it takes. I would say 5 to 10 minutes. Just till it's like the right consistency. Right now it's still a little thin for me. I want it to be thicker. So I love hot sauce. I actually have, I don't know who's still here. I know Paper Paws and Whiskers is here. But whoever is hanging out in the chat, the question of the day is best hot sauce, fight it out. Fight it out in the chat. So I love hot sauce. And my favorite hot sauce is sriracha, which is why I kind of go for the sweet and spicy ones. I like Tabasco too, though it's thin. It tastes good, but it's thin and it is strong, so you can only use a little bit. And I know you guys were laughing at me eating the pepper before, but I do like spicy food. It just has to be like complementary with something else. So I don't eat raw hot peppers. I don't eat raw jalapenos. It has to be with something else, and I'll eat it. But yes, I love hot sauce. Do you like Paper Pearls and Whiskers says, I don't know the names of the sauce, but it comes with the Peruvian dishes. Are you talking about the yellow one? Because the Peruvians have a yellow one that is like made with ají peppers. That might not be the one you're talking about though. Not my favorite. The yellow one is not my favorite, personally. It's like interesting flavor. Paper Balls and Whiskers says the yellow one is for the potato. The more you know. It's green. Okay. I like green hot sauces. There's a hot sauce. It's popular in Israel, and I think it's originally from Yemen. That's green. That's called, I think there's different ways to spell it, but I'll put how I spell it in the chat. Zouk, I think. Zouk. Yes, Munchkin. Do you like hot sauce? That one's really good. That one's like addicting. And it's green from the herbs. So it's almost like a spicy pesto because there's so many herbs in it. It's really good. But that one is a fresh hot sauce too. So there's differences between the fresh hot sauces and the fermented hot sauces. Fermented hot sauces have a different like twangy flavor. Like Tabasco is also fermented. It has a very strong twangy flavor. Fresh hot sauces can be really spicy, especially if everything is raw. It could be really spicy, depending on what peppers they use. Yes, Munchkin? He's got a hairball. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. I think we can give it 5 more minutes. Yeah, Paper Paws and Whiskers says, I've never seen fermented and or cooked sauces. My dad used to make a bunch. He loves spicy, and he usually made them fresh. Yeah, that's so interesting. So I think fermented hot sauces are more of an like American as in United Statesian thing. I think so. Like Tabasco is fermented. That's like probably one of the most American hot sauces there is. Sriracha is also okay. I know sriracha is Thai originally, but the rooster sauce is American, and it has become an American staple. But it's very similar to an American hot sauce, but with more sugar to it. More sugar. So it's very similar to an American hot sauce in its process. It's fermented and cooked. So yeah, I think that's a cultural difference. I think Mexican hot sauces are also some of them are also fermented, but some of them are like raw and very spicy. Because there's other like relishes that are popular in Asia, like sambals and things like that, where it's like just crushed up peppers, raw peppers. They're so spicy, so spicy. Like just a little bit. You just need a little bit because it's raw. It makes it spicier. But yeah, if you want something that's like sweet and spicy, trying sriracha type recipes is good. Right, Munch? Please don't make a mess. Let's turn this down again. Oh, I'm turning it up. Turn it down. Silly me. Cook it for a few more minutes. You can see it's cooking down. I think you can see it from that angle. It is cooking down. And you can use this on anything. I put it on sandwiches, of course, and on toast. You guys know I love spicy peanut butter toast, so I will put this on peanut butter toast or avocado toast. On my mung bean sandwiches that I made last 2 weeks ago. I maybe made it 2 weeks ago. On stream on a Wednesday, I made it. Put it right on there. Put it into things while I'm cooking to add more spice. Yeah, I put it on almost anything. You put it on pasta or noodles, potatoes, but Paper Pulse and Whiskers says use the yellow sauce for potatoes. So now I know. I have a pepper plant too, and it's actually I've had it for 4 years, and I thought it was going to die, but it's growing more peppers, so it's like immortal. Um, it lives inside, which is why it's not dead, but eventually it'll, expire. But it's still alive and it's growing more peppers. So, but they're so tiny. They're like very little peppers. I think they're bird's eye chilies. So they're spicy, but they're very tiny. Not enough for a hot sauce. And they turn, they're very pretty. They turn orange when they're ripe. Right now they're all green. They look like little jalapenos, but they'll turn orange when they're ripe. Okay, I think we've got it. It's been 10 minutes. It's cooked down quite a bit. You can always cook it down more if you want it thicker. But it looks good. It'll thicken up too as it cools. Turn it off. We can try a bit too. Get a little bit more. Oh, it's spicy. It's spicy. Maybe a little spicier than usual. No, it's good. It's good. It's spicier than sriracha though. It's definitely spicier than sriracha. Oh my God, Pete says, hi Lisa, good morning, how are you? Good morning, Pete, how are you? How's your Saturday going? We're making hot sauce. Sorry, you guys think it's funny when I eat spicy food. But I actually really like spicy food. But we're making hot sauce. We're almost done with the hot sauce. Here it is. And you might think it's weird to make hot sauce on a Saturday morning. Well, that's just what we do here, okay? That's what I do on my Saturdays. I make hot sauce. So here it is. Here's our hot sauce. And I'm going to jar it. I actually put it into, I have it right over there, the maple syrup jar. So I'm going to do that. I don't think we need the cam anymore. All right, I'm going to get the maple syrup jar. So I put it in here. And I use this to get it in. It takes a little while, but I like to get it in here. And then if it doesn't all fit in here, I put the rest in another jar. So you guys get to watch me put it in here. This is an old maple syrup jar. It's so beautiful. Is there a different spoon I used? Because I feel like I'm making a mess. I'm trying to think what I did last time. Yeah, I feel like I did it differently. Was there a different spoon? I don't remember doing it like this. I don't know. I'll do it like this until I figure something else out. Maybe it was a mess last time and I just have wishful thinking. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, maybe I don't need the funnel. I did have a funnel left. This was the funnel. Did I not need the funnel? No, I think I do need the funnel. So if I try it without the funnel. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of a similar mess. Yeah, it's a mess. It's good. Oh yeah, that's good. Stop wasting it by dropping it. No, the funnel's better. Was it a bigger funnel? All right, I got it going now. It's just the practice. What's the spiciness ratio? So it's made with Fresno chilies. So it's Fresno chilies are about as spicy as jalapenos. It was also fermented and cooked. And there's sugar added to it, very little bit of sugar added to the fermentation liquid. Not too spicy. I like heat. Oh my god, pizza is not too spicy. I like heat. Yeah, so I would say it's definitely a little spicier than sriracha, but I was going for a sriracha vibe. But it is spicier than that. But I also like spicy food, but sriracha is my favorite hot sauce, so. I like just to add a lot of it. This will last longer than a week. But that's a good question, Pete. Pete asked, will that last a week, right? It's fermented and there's vinegar in it. So it has a lot of properties that'll keep it fresh for longer. I wouldn't keep it at room temperature. Maybe at room temperature it'll last a week. But in the fridge, I'd say a few months. Maybe like 2 months. I don't think it lasts 2 months in the house. Maybe like 2 months. Yeah, it has a lot of properties in it. So like when you buy hot sauce from the store, for example, it has a lot of acid in it. That's what keeps it fresh for so long. And so does this. This has vinegar in it. And it has the acid from the fermentation liquid, which is like pickle juice. Basically pickle juice. Almost got it. So, oh my god, Pete, what's your favorite hot sauce? Fight it out. Tapatio. Oh my god, Pete says Tapatio. I don't like Tapatio. I think that's the one I don't like. Because it's thin. I'll ask my husband which one I don't like. I think it's Tapatio. The Bearfin says, did stream come back the other day? I had to get off for the night. Which day? The Bearfin, what day you're asking? I wasn't here on Wednesday. On Saturday, we ended kind of early. No, the Bearfin, you were here all day on Saturday. I left early, yeah. The Bearfin says, oh, Pete was streaming. Oh, Pete, what were you streaming? Now it's all thick. Which is good, that's how I want it. Pete says he fixed it, good. I played Golden Axe for Genesis instead. I don't know what that is. But I'm assuming it's an old game if it's on Genesis. I think I'll be able to fit it all in here. Yeah, now that it's cooling down, it's thicker. It's getting actually pretty thick. It's good. Good for me. I think last time I let it cool down more before I started to get it into the jar. I think that's what I did, because now it's not spilling as much, but it is thick. Like ketchup thick. Kind of what I wanted. What does it taste like? Oh my god, he says when you pour it, I can taste it. Because you can feel it's like your senses are connected. Your sense of sight and your sense of taste are connected. Spicy. Yeah, it's a little spicy. Yeah, making your own hot sauce is so easy. Don't get me wrong, I buy hot sauce a lot. I buy a lot of hot sauce. But I think a few weeks ago, someone saw, yeah, oh my god, Pete, we are doing bread today. Yeah. But going back, I'll go back to the bread in a minute, because we're gonna do some bread in a few seconds, right when I'm done with this. But one of you, oh, I have to plug in my computer. But one of you was talking about how they can't get hot sauce, or they can't get sriracha, which there was a shortage. Give me a minute. Let me get this. Okay. Yeah, there was a shortage in hot sauce, in sriracha specifically. And one of you were saying, I can't find sriracha. And that made me think, I'm like, we can make it. It's so easy to make. So then I was like, I should make it. I think I can fit it. So about the bread, as soon as I'm done with this, which I'm pretty much done, we're gonna continue making the rye bread. So we started the rye before I did this. I started it, and it's actually perfect timing. Perfect timing. We let it sit for an hour, and then we're gonna shape it. So it's that easy. It's 100% rye, so you'll see it's a little different. I have the example over here, but I'll show it. I'm gonna clean up first a little bit because it's like hot sauce o'clock over here. and then we will get that out. And then we'll continue making the rye bread. And we're going to bake it today. It's that easy. So you get to see the finished product today of all your hard labor. Yeah, I got it all in here. That's good. See how thick it is? It's like ketchup-y now. That's how I want it. I'm just gonna put it in like this at this point. Okay. That's good. Okay. So I made a little mess, but I'll clean this up. It's not, it could have been worse, I suppose. But yeah, we have hot sauce. Okay, we have hot sauce. I know it says maple syrup, but it's hot sauce. And like I said earlier, you can put this on anything. I put it on sandwiches. I put it on noodles. Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to shake the jar because it's got all the thick stuff on the top. But it'll be okay. Yeah, the bottom is a little bit more watery, but it's still kind of hot. So I'll let it cool first. But oh my God, Pete says, great job. No, it's fine. I'll do it more later. It's a little hot still. But yeah, so we have hot sauce. You can put it on anything, on sandwiches, on top pasta, on noodles, soup. I don't know. Whatever you need hot sauce for, you have hot sauce. Into like beans, if you're making a pot of beans. Yeah, it's still kind of hot. Oh no, it shook up a little bit. I can see it on the top. But right now, I'm going to clean up a little bit just to make room for our next endeavor, which is the rye bread. But yeah, I don't know what my plan is for posting the hot sauce recipe. I think this week I'm going to post the rye recipe instead of the hot sauce recipe. Maybe we'll come back to the hot sauce. Oh my God, Pete says rye bread, yummo. Yeah, rye bread's really good. Okay, so I will be right back. I'm just going to clean this up. And then we'll get the rye bread out and we'll finish that. Okay. Okay, so we got our dough here. It looks pretty much the same as it did before. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to gently shape it. I'll take off my ring actually. We're gonna gently shape this, and then we're gonna place it on here. It's actually going to be like a little sticky, but really not much work. And I'll show you what I mean. I said earlier that we can't do stretch and folds. Now that I'm touching the dough, I'll show you what I mean. There's no, literally cannot stretch and fold. It cannot. So, it's useless. So I'm just gonna, with my wet hands, kind of work the dough. No elastic. Yeah, it's 100% rye. So it's a little different than the regular sourdough that we usually make, but it's still really tasty. It's not, because of the texture, it's not great for sandwiches, but for open face sandwiches or toast, it's really good. And it has a very distinct flavor. Very distinct. Okay. Rosa Punkley Barista says, hello all, how are you doing? Welcome to the chat. Hello. We're doing good. We're making rye bread. Should have gotten my bench scraper. Feel free, Rosa, to introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us, do you want to be called Rosa? Or do you want to be called something else? I'm Elisa, by the way. Welcome. Or the Jersey Girl. Whatever you want to call me, Lisa or the Jersey Girl. And here we bake sourdough and make other delicious treats, but every week we usually bake at least one loaf of sourdough. Rosa Punkley Barista says, I had an epic first 2 days of the weekend. Oh, epic first 2 days of the weekend. Oh. Is it Saturday for you, or do you just start an early weekend? Okay. So I'm going to pick this up. Hold on. I'm going to get the, yeah, the Bearfin says, do tell. I'm going to get my bench scraper really quick. Rosa says it's Saturday for me. So you, started the weekend on Thursday? All right, I'm going to get my bench scraper to make this easier. All right, I got my bench scraper. I'm going to flour a little. Rosa says, no, my weekend started Friday afternoon, but I'm including today. So how was your weekend so far, Rosa? How was everyone's weekend? We can count we can count Friday afternoon. So it's 2 days. This makes it easier. Okay, that's better. Okay. Pick it up, put it right here. So now we have it on here, like that. And now I'm going to get more flour. Notice before I just kind of wet my hands to touch the dough. That's because it was so sticky. But now that I'm almost done, I'm going to flour it. Rosa said, my parents and I went to the other side of the country. I live in the Netherlands. It was only one night, but it was very nice. That does sound really nice. Oh my god, Pete says noise. Rosa, in the Netherlands, do you guys eat 100% rye? Like, I'll show you when we're done with this what it looks like. But it's the very dense rye bread. So now I'm just covering the top with flour. And I'm going to just use my hands to kind of shape it. That's a really nice trip. I've never been to the Netherlands. But it does sound really nice. I imagine it's beautiful up there. Okay, so now I'm just shaping it with my floured hands. Rosa says, I'm enjoying my stay here very much. Your stay in the Netherlands or on the other side of the country of the Netherlands? Oh, your stay here. I think that's what you meant. Rosa said, I followed. Thank you for following, Rosa. Thank you for following. Your follow and view is always appreciated. It's good for me to know that what I'm doing has some meaning for you or some value for you. So yeah, I just gently shaped it. It's kind of going to keep the shape you give it. Rosa says I'm interested in baking too, so yeah. So Rosa, I was wondering if you eat like the 100% rye in the Netherlands. I feel like in Scandinavian countries it's more common. So let me show you what I mean. So here we have this, okay? And we're gonna let this sit until it gets cracks in the surface. Basically it might take like an hour or so. It's really a quick rise because we fermented so much of the dough last night. Okay. But we have, I'll show you here. So this is the one I made yesterday. It looks like a giant cookie, like everyone said, but it's 100% rye. And in the US, we usually eat something we call it deli rye or Jewish deli rye or sandwich rye. And I have a recipe for that type of rye on my blog. Let me see. And that one's good for sandwiches, of course, and it's a little lighter. This one is more dense, and it has a different texture, but it's really good if you like rye. And Rosa says, I don't eat rye bread personally. My mom likes it, but it's more of a treat for her. A delicious treat, a healthy treat, too. In the US, that wouldn't be considered a treat. So, yes. So we'll open this up soon, actually, so I can show you the texture. So the thing with rye, 100% rye, is it's recommended to wait a long time before cutting into it after it's baked to let the texture kind of firm up. So that's why I would bake this yesterday. It was yesterday afternoon, but we can still open it up now. So I baked this yesterday. I think it was around 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. So what I'll do is I'll leave this here for now. I'll come back. I'm gonna go wash my hands really, really quick, clean this up, and then we will cut into this. And I'll show you what the texture looks like, and we'll do a taste test while we're waiting for this to rise. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I'm gonna cut off a piece and just show you what the texture's like here. The great reveal. Oh, the crumb looks good. Oh yeah, that crumb looks really good. Thank you to me. Okay. Rose says there's a variant of rye bread that looks more like a piece of snack toast. I think it's Frisian originally, but you can buy it in other parts of the Netherlands too. Yeah, I think I had something that was like that in France when I was in France. It's not French, but I ate a lot of bread when I was in France. And my host told me it was German. I don't know if it's originally German or what, but she was kind of like she was surprised that I liked it. But I do like bread like that. I don't just like white fluffy bread like the French like the fluffy bread. I like bread like that. So here's like a little, you see it? And this is just the butt piece. So you can see it is soft, but it's like kind of firm too. And it's not like white bread. But it's very sour. Like it's if you like sourdough, you will like this. It's like this is oh my god, Pete says I only have croissants right now. It's the opposite of a croissant, okay? It's like it's chewy, it's it's dense but not like too dense, and it's like sour, like in a good way. If you like sourdough, it's really good. Rosa said the variant I know is darker in color, but aside from that, looks very similar. And Rosa says it won't break your teeth. I hope. No, I have to sharpen my knife. I'll put this away so it doesn't scare you guys. But I have to sharpen my knife. It's not hard. The crust is like crunchy, but it's not hard. The inside is soft. Thank you, the bear fan. I'm assuming that's a link to my Instagram post. I'm cutting off another piece because I'm going to eat another piece, and also to show you like a bigger slice. The bear fan said that banh mi on ciabatta still looks good. You were there when we made that, right? We made that on our Wednesday stream. So for those of you who don't know, I didn't stream this Wednesday. I usually take the last Wednesdays of the month off. But on Wednesdays, I stream and I call it my midweek toast. And we make something to put on the toast on Wednesday. It's after I get home from work, so I don't have time to make a loaf of bread. But I have time to make a lunch. So we make lunch together and I show you what to put on toast. This week we're going to make some like open face sandwiches with the rye bread. So if you're interested in that, it's on Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch. Where else? So see, it's like that. So it's still soft on the inside, but the crust is crunchy. Can't get better. Rosa said that the one she's familiar with is a darker color on the inside. That might have to do with the variety of rye flour, because I obviously am not using rye. Well, I guess I could get it imported, but I'm not using rye flour from the Netherlands. I'm actually using rye flour from a local mill in New Jersey, so it's probably a different variety than what they grow in the Netherlands. I'm assuming that might be the difference. Another difference is sometimes people add molasses to the dough to make it darker. But my guess is if it's from, a bakery, it's probably the different variety of rye flour. That's my guess. Rosa says, well, you did it your way, and that's cool too. I like to do things my way a lot of the time. You'll see that, Rosa. Sometimes I don't follow the rules. Um, but yeah. Rosa, I actually had a question for you. You said you're interested in baking. What do you like to bake? Do you already like to bake things? Do you like to bake bread or maybe sweets? Let us know. I obviously like to bake bread. I do bake sweets sometimes, but I'm more of a bread person. Just because I feel like bread is more like an everyday thing. Like I could eat this every day. I know some people say you can't eat bread every day, but I eat bread every day. Whereas, like, I don't know, cupcakes, you can't eat cupcakes every day. You can, but I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend that. That's a dessert. But bread could be part of a meal. Yeah, so the Bear fan posted Discord in the chat, and our Discord is for anyone who's interested in sharing what they bake or cook or just in general stuff. You can share other things, but it's more oriented for you guys to share what you're baking and what you're cooking and things like that. And when you go on, you'll see that there's a guide to the different sections. And right now, it's still new, but there are already people posting. So thank you, everyone who's posting, and hopefully it'll be very active eventually in the future. Rosa says, I want to bake bread and simple things like donuts. I don't know why I don't consider donuts to be simple, but I am starting out with bread. Yeah, bread is good. Bread is good, but I think bread is actually easier than donuts. I feel like donuts are, well, I guess they can be simple, but I consider the deep frying process. Rosa, she says, I will need to make a Discord account. Only if you feel so inclined, you can. If you don't have a Discord, that's okay. Don't feel obligated. But if you do feel so inclined, you're free to join. I would be happy if you joined. But donuts, if you're talking about fried donuts, I would consider the frying process kind of tricky in and of itself. Right? Like I don't like frying food, like especially deep frying foods, and I would consider that like a whole ordeal. So, but if you bake donuts, they're pretty easy. Yeah, if you do baked donuts, it's easy. Rosa says, yeah, but I have a mini donut maker. Is it like a fryer or is it like a baker? She says, I still need to train with the donut maker though. That sounds fun. I've made cake donuts, but never like fried donuts. Rosa says like a waffle maker, but for donut. Yeah, okay, so it's a baked donut. So it's probably a cake donut. Yeah, you can do that. Whenever you do it, and if you join Discord, post that on Discord. I want to see it. I've made baked donuts before. They're not that hard. They're kind of like muffins or something. But fried donuts, I've never attempted that. No deep frying going on in this house. Rosa said, I will join Discord. You have me inspired. I'm glad I could inspire you. That's why I'm here. That is why I'm here, to inspire you to bake bread. Or other things, but. So this week I'm going to make, on Wednesday, I'm going to make it. Guys, don't unfollow, don't unsubscribe. I'm going to make a beet horseradish spread to put onto the fry bread. Paper Paws and Whiskers says, so sorry, I have to get going, have to pick up something from work. If you're on when I'm back, I'll definitely hop on and enjoy your stream. Okay, Paper Paws and Whiskers, we'll see you soon. Thank you for stopping by. And you shouldn't feel bad. You know what? Well, before you go, I'm going to, let's see if I can remember how to do this. Yes. And whiskers. Okay, got it. Yep, got it. Paper Paws and Whiskers has her own stream, so shout out to her. She streams arts and crafts and things like that. So she does her diamond painting, and sometimes when she's doing stuff for her small business, but she also makes like cups and stickers and bookmarks and all those types of things for her small business. So if you're interested in that, go follow her and go watch her streams. I was about to say Paper Paws and Whiskers. I don't feel bad if you have to leave. First, no one feel bad if you have to leave. I know you guys have a life and stuff. You don't have to stay here and watch me if you're busy. But but Paper Paws and Whiskers, sometimes your streams are you stream like when I'm asleep, so I miss your streams, or I'm about to go to sleep. But when you stream a little earlier, I try to get on. But sometimes I wake up and I was like, oh, she streamed at like 10 p.m. I wasn't there. I'm an early bird and I go to sleep early, so I was sleeping. But yeah, I'm just starting to going back to like we're talking about Twitch streams. I know Oh My God Pete streams too. He streams video games. I'm not sure which ones. Oh my God Pete, you can tell us in the chat which video games you stream. But I'm not really into Twitch. I'm not a Twitcher. That might not be PC, but I'm not a Twitcher. I usually like if I want to watch or listen to something while I'm doing something like cooking or cleaning. I usually am more apt to go to YouTube. Oh my God, Pete says, how long does the rye bread sit before baking? 1 to 2 hours. It's been like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And you can see, I'll show you actually. It's starting to crack, which is when we want to start getting it into the oven. So probably in a half hour, we'll get it into the oven. But I'll show you. I'll move stuff around to show you what it looks like now. Right, once I'm done with the these pieces. And then, oh my God, Pete, thanks for mentioning it, because I didn't look at it. We're going to put the oven on and get it preheated before we get it into the oven. So we'll do that in a few minutes. But I was saying that I'm not really into Twitch, and I just started to like watch people on Twitch just because I'm here. But yeah, I'm not a gamer either. Moving some stuff around. You can see it. So you see there's little cracks coming out. Once you see the little cracks, it's almost time to start. Oh my God, Pete says that's your sister's job to game. Yeah, we can't all do the same things. We have to do different things. So yeah, you can see it, the little cracks forming. So to keep this fresh, first of all, rye bread stays fresh for a long time. Something about rye bread, it's resistant to mold. Pete says, I know you eat well. Bread fresh, always on hand. Nice. I like to think I eat well. My husband and I both eat well. You kind of see what we eat. I don't hide what I eat. I don't hide that I eat a lot of bread. And you see on Wednesdays some samples of what kind of foods I like to eat, usually on bread. But you know, we did beans on toast. We did like a mung bean crepe. A lot of peanut butter toast, but usually with something else. Like I did peanut butter and sauerkraut toast. So I sometimes have weird combinations, but I like to think that I eat well. So yes, so these keep pretty well. But I'm gonna put it in a bag. I don't have one right on me. Oh yes, there's a Discord link. Yes, the Discord link for anyone who wants to join. I don't have any right here, but I have some in the kitchen, so I'll get one and show you later. But I keep this in a bread bag. You can also use a tea towel and just wrap it up. And I don't know if it'll stand. Oh, it does. You can keep it cut side down, preferred, so it stays fresh on the bottom. But the rye bread, I mean, it stays fresh for a long time. It's very resistant to mold, which is something really good about this stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, because this is forming the cracks already, it's fermenting pretty quickly, I'm going to turn on the oven and get my baking utensil or baking pan, which I'll come. Should I show you the baking pan first? Oh, well, I have two of them, so I'll show you one of them, and the other one I'll put in the oven. So kill two birds with one stone, or feed two birds with one stone. The nice way to say it. So I'll do that now, and that way in about a half hour we can get this guy into the oven already, right? In about a half hour it'll be an hour, so that'll be good. All right, so I'll be right back. I'm back. So the oven's on at 475, and I'll show you this in a minute. I'll turn off the bread cam. I put this bad boy in there. I'll just show you right now. This bad boy in there. You don't have to use one of these. It's a Challenger bread pan. It's really convenient to have if you bake a lot of bread like I do, but you can use a regular pan. And to create steam, you can put a pan. So you'd put your regular pan on the top shelf, top rack, and on the bottom rack, you'd put a pan with ice water in it to create steam. But I'll talk about that in a minute. I wanted to show you this first. So this is just a tea towel. My sister actually got this for me. It says, I need carbs, which is true. We all need carbs. And so I can cover this with the tea towel. I couldn't find a bread bag that's not in use that's big enough. So, yeah, nice. I need carbs. So you can cover it with this. You can put it like this or like this if you don't have room for it like that. But this will just keep it fresher for a little longer. But like I said, the rye bread stays fresh for a long time. I'll just put that there. And then we'll talk about... Oh, it's still a mess under here. Like that. Okay, we'll talk about this. Rosa says, I'm part of the Discord community now. Good. That's great. I'm glad you joined. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you in there. Once I'm done with the stream, I'll welcome you in. So, oops. It's fine. So this is a Challenger bread pan. Okay. So the reason why this is convenient is because it has a lid that creates steam. You could also use like a Dutch oven that's this big, but it's like a huge Dutch oven is what it is. Okay, and it's shallow, so it's made specifically for bread. So what I do with the rye bread and with most breads is I leave the lid on for the first half of the bake, and then take the lid off towards the end to create a crust. So for the rye, I actually leave the lid on for longer, so I leave the lid on for 30 minutes. And then take off the lid after that because I really want it to be moist for longer. It creates a better texture in the rye bread. So what I do, so here's the bottom, right? So I put the lid on in the beginning. And then towards the end, I take it off and put it back in the oven. So you could do that if you have something like this. Or you could do the other method, which is in the first half of the bake, you put ice water on the bottom of the oven, and that will help create steam. I think this works better. Personally, I mean, I used to do the other method before I had this. I do think this works better, but the other method will still work. So you don't feel like you have to go out and spend a lot of money and buy something like this. There are cheaper ones than the Challenger bread pan, like Lodge makes something that could work. I believe they make a wide Dutch oven that's cast iron that's not as expensive as this. So yeah, but I just wanted to show you this. This is the pan we're using, and that's in the oven right now. I have two of them because I'm crazy, but you're not crazy like I am. But I bake a lot of bread. So I have two of these. So one of them is in the oven right now, and it's heating up with the oven. Because you want this to be hot when you put the rye bread or any bread into it, you want it to be hot already. You don't want to put something in it while it's cold. So that's what's going on right now. We'll watch the bread cam. So you can see the rye bread, the cracks are getting bigger, right? That's good. So it's fermenting quite well. I think this one's going to come out really good. There's a few reasons why. One reason is yesterday's bread came out good. I just had a piece and it was really good. The second reason is that yesterday I did something that I'm not sure why I did it in hindsight, but I don't make this bread that often. because it's really tasty, but it's not good for sandwiches, and it has a different like baking schedule than other breads. As you can see, it had like a different baking schedule, so it's not good when I'm making like 3 loaves at a time. It's not the best, even though it's really tasty and it's really healthy because it's all rye flour. It's all whole wheat rye flour, whole grain rye flour. There's no red flour or anything in it. So if you have trouble with like regular flour, this might be easier for you to digest. But I digress again. I don't make it that often. So yesterday, when it was doing this step, I put it in a banneton. And then I was like, wait, why did I do that? Because then it was harder to get out of the banneton. I knew that would happen. And a banneton is just like a basket where you rest the bread for its final proof. And I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have put it in the banneton. I should just put it right on here. So that way it's easy. You don't have to move it. And I think that'll make it'll still look like a giant cookie. But I think the shape of the giant cookie will be better than yesterday's. But yeah, this is really good. Yesterday's was really good. So I am excited for today's. Yeah. But when it's done baking, so common wisdom always says that rye bread takes a long time to like form the crumb. So when it's done baking, you want to let it rest for another day before cutting into it. So even though it's going to be done in an hour or so, they'll say, no, 24 hours later you can cut into it. So that's why I waited till today to cut into the one I baked yesterday. It wasn't exactly 24 hours, more like 20 hours or so, but it's still, at that point, I think it's just not a big deal. So we're not going to cut into this one today. I'll wait till tomorrow to cut into it, and then I'll post the pictures on Discord and my other socials. But yes, the one we just cut into was really good. Rosa says time and scheduling is important, especially when you are trying to sell the bread. Oh yes, Rosa. Yeah, like last year. So anyone who's new here, including Rosa, you might not know that I run a cottage bakery, and I'm actually going to restart the selling of the bread. What's the word for that? I guess the selling season at the end of May. So in another month, I'm going to start it. But last year, it was my first year running the cottage bakery, and scheduling is so important because we were baking a lot of bread. It was so much bread, and it was more bread than my kitchen could handle, which is why this year we're scaling it back a little bit, and then we'll see what happens next year. If I have more space next year, or if I come up with another plan or whatever it is. But for this year, I'm scaling it back a little bit. So last year I was baking, was it 30 loaves a week? 30 to 50 loaves a week. But it was, you have to understand, like this 30 to 50, it wasn't spread out throughout the whole week. It was for one day. So in one day, I was baking 30 loaves. And that was, I know it's easy for like an industrial bakery to bake hundreds of loaves a day. But for my little kitchen, 30 loaves was too much. Rosa says, yeah, that's a lot. And the crazy thing, Rosa, is I baked a lot, and then we sold it at the farmer's market, and then within an hour, we were sold out. So we were in demand, which is really good for us, that people really wanted our bread. But then I always felt like I wanted to bake more because people would come up and be like, where's the bread? And like, we sold out already. You have to get here early, like, to get it. No guarantee, right, that we'll have bread. Rosa says, well, at least you're popular. Yeah, we were popular. I mean, there is a trend here in the US because I don't know how it is in the Netherlands because I've never been there. I know in Europe, though, in general, it's a little different. But there is like a dichotomy, I guess. There's, a lot of people like the white breads like Wonder Bread and things like that, supermarket bread. It's really affordable. It's cheap. It's tasty because it's soft. It has added sugar in it to make it tastier, right? So there's like that has been popular for a very long time. But then there's like a kind of health food movement, like to counteract all of that. There's a health food movement and more natural foods movement. So in terms of bread, that's why sourdough is becoming popular in the US amongst a certain crowd, a certain type of individual. So they do sell sourdough now in the stores too, like Whole Foods and other types of like bigger chain stores will sell sourdough, and there are sourdough bakeries around. But yeah, so the sourdough is popular. It's a certain it's a type of product, right? That will attract a certain type of client or customer. But yes, yes. Oh my god, Pete says I love sourdough more than any other breads. I agree. I love sourdough. Oh my god, Pete. I honestly don't make bread with yeast, like regular packet yeast anymore. Rosa says, I think it's here too, but it got a negative aftertaste because we don't have the best folks presenting it, I think. What does that mean? Um, I wonder what that negative aftertaste is. I mean, it depends. So, for example, there's a lot of factors that go into what makes sourdough taste different. Sourdough might taste different in different places. Like, there's different bacteria in the air that might make the sourdough taste a little different. It might be based on their fermentation. So, for example, a longer fermentation will create a more sour sourdough. It could be even based on their starter. So I keep a stiff starter actually, which is all that means is that my starter is more flour to water. So it's like 100 grams of flour to 50 grams of water, 2-to-1 ratio. But because it's stiff, it actually is sweeter. So my sourdough breads tend to be a little sweeter. So they don't have that aftertaste that maybe you don't like. I know that my customers that come back, there's some people that said my bread wasn't sour enough. You can't please everyone, but a lot of my customers like that my bread's not that sour, and they try other sourdoughs and they don't like it. So it really depends on your taste. But now it could depend on the flours you use as well. So this rye bread is way more sour than my other breads because the rye just when it ferments it gets really sour. If you don't like sour, you might not like this, but if you like sourdough, you will like. I like this a lot. Personally, I like both the sour and the sweeter ones. They're both good. But yeah, it depends. It depends. I think I've had sourdough that has a bad aftertaste. Um, and I kind of know what you were talking about. I'm not sure what you mean by presenting it. Oh, okay. So Rosa says the healthy foods and lifestyle movement is what I was referring to. Okay, I kind of get what you mean now. But it's also difficult to get through to some farmers, even my parents included. Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah, I know what you mean now. So the healthy foods and lifestyle movement. I agree with you, Rosa. So I have I guess conflicting, not conflicting, but I do think that the healthy foods movement sometimes is very pseudosciency. Like they say things that don't make any sense. I guess they might talk about certain like supplements or herbs that this herb is healthy. It'll give you a long life, or I don't know, something like that. They maybe exaggerate certain claims and things like that. But at the same time, so that's annoying, right? When the crunchy granola people or crunchy granola moms, I call them, just kind of exaggerate certain things and try to make it out to be that making being healthy is hard or something. But what's more annoying is to me when people make junk food look like healthy. That's more annoying, and I've seen that a lot. So before I forget, Rosa said my parents were farmers, but they don't like pseudoscience. They are not against researching though. Yeah, so that's what I thought you were talking about, Rosa, like the pseudosciency kind of health gurus that are online. But a lot I've also seen the people promoting junk food like it's healthy. I see that a lot online as well. Even within, for those of you who don't know, please don't unfollow, unsubscribe. I am a vegan, so what we make here is all vegan, but for the bread, that really doesn't matter because most of the bread anyway would be naturally without animal products. But some of the um, like last or 2 weeks ago, we made chickpea crepes. That was like a vegan thing, right? But it was delicious, I think. But even within like vegans, maybe like 10 years ago, it was really about health food. It was really about whole foods and stuff like that. And there were a lot of weirdos that were touting like crazy things. Like now we have that as well. But 10 years ago, I think it was more uh, obvious or more abundant, these types of things. But now it's all like I see people making vegan KFC and deep fried this and things that are obviously not healthy, right? It's not like yeah, if you fry tofu, it's not healthy anymore. Right? If you deep fry tofu, it's not healthy anymore. So it's like I see that and I'm always like, what? Rosa says some things I don't like in the healthy versus junk food is the price difference. Junk food here is cheaper in comparison to healthy food. Well, it depends, Rosa, because this is another thing that bothers me when people say that junk food is healthier than healthy food. I don't know what it's like in the Netherlands, but people always say that here, right? In the US, people always say junk food is just cheaper. And I don't think so. So my husband and I we don't go out to eat. Um, only with friends, which is just rarely. And I do have the privilege of making most of our meals, so I will grant you that. Some people don't have as much time as I do. I also stream it on here, so you guys see some of the meals I make. So I meal prep for us. My husband works more than I do, though, so we kind of balance it out that way. My husband works way more than I do. But I meal prep for us, and everything's plant-based, mostly whole foods, sometimes like tofu and tempeh, mostly whole foods, lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of them. We always buy them on sale and things like that. And our weekly budget for food is $50. I don't know what that's like in the Netherlands, but it's 50 US dollars per week for 2 people. So I always kind of wonder when they say healthy food's expensive, do they mean eating out healthy? What do they mean? Yeah, eating out healthy food's more expensive than like a nice restaurant's more expensive than McDonald's, I'd say. Yeah, sure. But like potato chips, to get enough fuel from potato chips, it's more expensive than buying like some vegetables and fruits and beans and other like spices and making a meal. Because the potato chips will last you one day, and all of those things that you bought will last you a week, maybe more. So yeah, I really don't think that junk food is cheaper. I really would like to see some proof. I have never seen proof of that. Rosa says that's the same budget for some couples here. Depends, but roughly the same budget. Well, that's good, Rosa. Because here, I don't think that's the budget for couples. When we tell people that we only spend $50 a week, people think that, wow, that's so cheap. I think in the US, we just overspend. We have a culture of overspending. We like to treat ourselves. We think we deserve it. Good things. But yeah, that's good, Rosa, that it's the same budget. I think that's good. Because I think that's a good budget. Especially with inflation. It's a good budget. And we get so much, like, so many mangoes, so many bananas, oranges, even avocados. We get them on sale, and yeah, we're greens and beans. Well, we buy big bags of beans, so we don't buy them every week. That's the key to get things in bulk. If you get your dry goods in bulk, you'll do better. But and that includes the flowers I buy too. I buy flowers, right? Like not flowers like like blooming flowers, but like for bread, flowers for bread. Um, so yeah, I think my main point though is that if you eat healthy, and I mean healthy like whole foods, not like the we were talking about before, like the pseudoscience. Don't buy like the trendy foods. Like that's the stuff that is expensive usually. Like the trendy superfoods. We talked about superfoods last week, I believe. I think it was last week. Someone asked about superfoods, and I was just like, they asked me what my favorite superfood is, and the answer I gave was, well, I don't know what you mean by superfood because I don't think superfoods exist. I think all whole foods are superfoods. So I said beets are my favorite superfood. I don't know, you know. So don't get the foods because it's trendy, because those are probably more expensive. And don't eat out, and you'll probably save a lot of money on food and eat healthy. So yeah, I don't like the excuse that it's expensive to eat healthy because I just don't think it's true. Rosa said, so the stereotype I have in my mind of working Americans is that they eat out for lunch a lot, if not every day. Meanwhile, the Dutch bring their own lunch boxes to work, but feel free to correct me. No, Rosa, I think that's true. I don't do that, and I don't work in a regular, like I don't work in an office. I'm a teacher, so I don't know what everyone does at my work for lunch. I think some of them do eat out, though. I don't eat out. Um, I will bring something, or I'll wait till I get home, depending on how long my day is. But yes, Rosa, I think what you're saying is true. I think a lot of people eat out for lunch. I bring my own lunch. If I need to, but my husband works more than me, like I said, so he brings a lunch every day. Sometimes he brings lunch and breakfast with him, depending on how long his day is. I pack it for him the night before. Yeah, so Americans just like to treat themselves, like I was saying. You know, they eat out for lunch every day and they're like, oh, why is it so expensive? Pack a sandwich. It takes like 5 minutes to make a sandwich in the morning. It's not that crazy. But yeah, I would say that's right. I think Americans eat out kind of a lot. I think they um, live kind of a high standard of living, and if you suggest something that like lowers that standard of living to save money, or because it's healthier, because I think it's also healthier, they think it's too hard. I'm being hard on Americans now, even though I love Americans. I'm American. But yes, I don't like that excuse. I don't like the excuse that it's hard to make your own lunch. Yeah, I don't buy that. Um, but you guys know. Oh my God, Pete says I agree. Good, good. Oh my God, Pete. I sometimes have harsh takes on here. I try not to make it too controversial because I don't want to start a fight in the chat. You guys are welcome to disagree with me though, but sometimes I have rough takes on here. I'm like, guys, make your own food. Well, that's what this channel is about anyway. So, making your own food, making your bread from scratch. You don't have to, but to be fair, I'll say this: you don't have to make your own bread from scratch if you don't. I like doing that. I like doing that. I that's like a hobby for me, right? And I started a business out of it. But you don't have to do that. You can buy whole wheat bread at the store that's healthy, and make sandwiches with that. It's still way cheaper than eating out. Way cheaper. But yeah, making your own foods from scratch is definitely like a hobby of mine. Like I made my own hot sauce earlier. If I don't know if everyone was here earlier, but we made hot sauce. But you don't have to do all that. You don't. You really don't. But you can. There are things you can do, like make your own dinners and lunches, and oatmeal for breakfast is easy. Like there's some things you can do just to make your life healthier. and more affordable. Rosa says, well, sometimes it's needed to say something. Just remember, there's a time and a place for everything. Yes, Rosa, those are words for the wise. Thank you, Rosa. Rosa said, just don't go too far. I got it. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. There's a time and a place for things. That's why I say, and I just say don't get too controversial in here, but we can talk about cultural issues. Oh my god, Pete, I don't eat out. I uh make it all at home. It's cheaper. Yeah, oh my god, Pete. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you can eat pretty healthy doing that, and it's cheaper. So I'm glad you're already on the train. You're already on the make stuff at home train. So that's good. That is good. All right, so it's 11:30 almost. 11:30 Eastern time. So in like maybe 10 or so more minutes, I'll get this guy into the oven. You see all the cracks now. They've gotten very big. You can see it on both cameras. So that's good. It's pretty much ready to go in. I'm just letting the oven preheat a little bit more. And then we'll get it right into the oven. And yeah, we'll go from there. We will go from there. Oh my god, pizza's lovely yummo cracks. Yeah, they'll look pretty too. I think that's the best part. I like that big cookie look of these ryes. I don't think I've ever seen. Maybe in San Francisco I've seen these. Maybe it was in San Francisco. If you guys don't know, in San Francisco in California, for those of you not from the U.S., in San Francisco in California, they have a big sourdough culture. So when we went to a bunch of bakeries, of course, and their sourdough is very sour too. I noticed that it was very sour. It had a different taste than mine, but it was really good still. And so maybe I saw this in San Francisco. I don't know. I just remember seeing one of these. Um, and I thought they were so cute and I wanted to try to make one. And since then I have. But yeah, they're so cute. I love the big giant cookie look. And I love rye bread. As you guys already know, I love rye bread. Anyone doing any baking experiments this weekend? Or cooking experiments? I'm always doing some cooking experiments. Like this weekend, I am marinating some tofu and some new marinades. So we'll see how those go. Oh my god, Pete asks, how long does it bake for? 50 minutes, 50 minutes. So we're gonna bake it for 30 minutes with the cap on and for 20 minutes with the cap off. So it bakes a little bit longer than the other breads that bake for 40 minutes. But that's because we want to make sure all the moisture is out, because if it's too moist on the inside, the crumb won't be good. So yeah, it does bake a little longer than other breads. That's a good question, Pete. That's another reason why I don't like bake this with it has a different baking schedule. So that's another reason why I don't bake this all the time, because if I bake it with other breads, it's just like I have to get the schedule right. What I am going to do though, for any of you who bake but probably only bake 1 or 2 loaves at a time, I tend to bake 3 loaves at a time. I tell you guys this, I don't like turning on my oven for only 1 loaf. Today I'm doing it, but usually I don't like to do that. But if I do that, I try to put something else in the oven, at least one more thing in the oven. So today I'm putting a beet in the oven with the bread. So what I was going to say is, if you are smart, which I'm sure all of you are, and you don't want to waste your like gas energy, I mean that's expensive and it's a waste. Throw other things in the oven while you're baking your bread. I always do that. It's fine. It doesn't ruin the bread or anything. It's fine. So there's going to be a beet in the oven with this, and that beet, what's today? Saturday? It'll be fine. I think it's the same beet we're going to use on Wednesday. But we'll see. I think it'll be fine. I can always throw it in the freezer too when it's done baking. I might do that just to make sure it's fresh on Wednesday. Rosa says that is a nice bit of advice. Yeah, I mean, if you have a big enough oven, which I do, it's good to not waste energy. I always, especially in the summer, you don't want your oven on all the time this summer. I just throw things in the oven, like you can throw garlic in the oven or whatever else you bake. Like if you bake potatoes or things like that, just throw it in. So you just have the oven on once instead of 10 times. Boston Health Department. Hi, Boston Health Department. How are you? Should I call you Boston Health Department? By the way, we're making rye bread now. Oh my God, Pete said pizza homemade too. That's what I do. Good. Yeah, good. Oh my God, Pete is already baking multiple things at once in the oven. Yeah. I don't like turning on my oven for only one thing. I really don't. Got to put something else in there to make it worth it. But yeah, we're making rye bread right now. You see here is basically ready to go. You can tell because of the lines. And I'm about to put it in the oven. I think it's just the Boston asked why does it look gray from on one camera. I think it's just the lighting and probably the settings on this camera. I can mess around with the settings later. I'm not that good with tech. You guys all know that already. I'm not that good with tech. Angle, yeah. Oh my God, Pete says angle of the cam. Yeah, I think it's just the lighting. So I can mess with it later, but I think it's okay. You guys still get the gist. Oh, you see the cracks on it. This camera looks brighter than this one, but you still see the cracks on it. In real life, it is a little gray. Okay, the rye flour is a little gray. So it's not inaccurate. But once it bakes up, it gets a brown. I have it in here actually. Rosa says, we get what's going on. Yeah, you guys get what's going on. Once it bakes, it looks like this. So it gets brown. So yeah, but right now it is gray. So that is correct. You're seeing that. Okay. So soon I'm going to get this into the oven. I'm just going to do it in the kitchen because this thing is heavy and hot. The bread pan is heavy and hot, so I'll do it in the kitchen. But I told you what I'm going to do. I'll show you again. So for the first half of the bake, I'm going to put the bread in here and then cover it. So we're going to cover it up for 30 minutes. This thing's heavy. It shook the whole table. This thing's heavy. So for 30 minutes, I'm going to cover this up like this. And then for the second half of the bake, after 30 minutes, I'll take it off. So I'm going to put this in the oven, lower the oven heat to 450 with the lid on, 30 minutes, take the lid off, lower the oven heat again to 420, and then it's done. For 20 minutes more, then it's done. Yeah, power lift. Yeah, it's good. I'm strong. I think I'm strong for my size. I'm small. I know you guys can't always tell how small I am. I think one time, I don't know if it was one of you who were here, but I held my cat, Munchkin, who's sitting in the corner. Maybe later you guys can see him. But I held Munchkin and everyone was like, oh, big cat. And I was like, no, Munchkin's small. He's 8 pounds. And they're like, oh, you must be small. And I'm like, yeah, I'm small. We're both small. So, for my size, I was saying, I think I'm pretty strong. But this thing is heavy. I don't know how many pounds it is, but it's heavy. Okay. Oh my God, Pete and Rosa and Boston Health Department. I will be right back. I'm going to get this into the oven, and then we will wait for it to bake. my god, Pete is getting a drink and a snack. We're gonna have to bother him when he gets back and ask him what he's snacking on. What do you guys like to snack on? What do I like to snack on? I mean, obviously fruit. Fruit is a superior snack. And veggies like peppers and like sweet peppers and stuff like that. Superior snack. Of course, toast, but oh my god, Pete has a great snack. He said peanuts in the shell. Yeah, that sounds really good. I love peanuts. You guys know I'm the bread queen. I'm also the peanut queen. I love peanuts. Okay, I use them for everything. I eat a lot of peanuts. It is true. I already mentioned what I was making next week, next Wednesday. The beet horseradish sauce. Do you guys like horseradish? I like horseradish. It's kind of like wasabi. It's very spicy, but in your nose spicy. Oh my god, Pete says, I've yet to try roasted peanuts. Oh my god, Pete, the peanuts you're eating are probably roasted, no? I've never seen raw peanuts sold in the shell just for snacking. Usually they're roasted. The Bear fan says no to the no. The Bear fan does not like horseradish. Okay, I'm sorry, the Bear fan. We only make foods that you don't like here. The Bear fan, what foods do you like? What vegetables and plant-based foods do you like? The Bear fan says boiled peanuts as a kid was great when Dad took us out fishing. Yeah, I had boiled nuts. Oh, you have. Oh my, you have. Are you guys Southern? Yeah. So up here, if you get peanuts in the shell, they're usually roasted. In the South, I did have boiled nuts for the first time, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago in the South, and they're delicious. The Bear fans, my roots are Alabama. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was in South Carolina, and I had boiled nuts, and I really liked them, but they taste so much different than roasted peanuts. So, oh my god, Pete, you gotta try the roasted peanuts. Basically like peanut butter. Like if you know what peanut butter tastes like, that's what roasted peanuts taste like. Rosa says, I need to go. I have a great time, everyone. I'll be back sometime. I might hang out around Discord later if stream is done. Okay, Rosa, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you later in Discord. And then, oh my god, Pete says, I just break the shell and eat the peanuts. Yeah. That's what you do with roasted peanuts too, if it's in the shell. Or you can get them out of the shell. But yeah, so roasted peanuts taste so much different though than boiled nuts. Boiled nuts taste a little bit like beans almost. They have like a beanie flavor to me, but they were really good, and I would definitely eat them again. Fatcorn says, hello everyone, Roll Tide, Alabama. Fatcorn, does that mean you're from Alabama too? And do you like roasted nuts? Or boiled nuts? Oh my god, Pete says, I don't really like wet peanuts. Wait, oh my god, Pete, aren't boiled nuts wet? Like a little wet? The ones I had were a little wet. The Bear fan says, because of my form of hyperosmia, sorry, I can't see. I do not get to snack on most snacks unless they are cooked. Okay. Oh, he said, I yet to try the boiled ones. Oh my god, Pete. Okay. Oh, you usually try so you have tried the roasted ones. You haven't tried the boiled ones. Yeah, so boiled nuts are good. Yeah, if you're in the South ever, I'd recommend trying it. But if you don't like wet nuts, it might be different for you. Because it is wet. But they are good. They're different. Like I said, kind of like beans, but they're good. Highly recommended. Yeah. Yeah, but the bear fan, you said you can't snack on most snacks unless they're cooked. So what kind of snacks do you like? What kind of fruits and vegetables do you like? Fatcorn says, I was stuck in a commercial with your boy Zachy B. I don't know who Zachy B is, but that's funny. That's good that you're getting commercials, though. That's good for me. I never know when you're getting commercials or not. But I'm glad you're here after the commercial break. It's just weird on Twitch the way the commercials work. It like kind of cuts into the stream. It does, that's just how the platform works, You didn't miss much. We were talking about nuts. You didn't miss much. But yeah, the bear fan, what kind of like fruits and veggies and stuff like that do you like? Zach Braff, Jersey Girl dude. I don't know everyone, Fat Corn. Oh my god, Pete says no likey horseradish either. Bleh. Horseradish is good. You guys gotta trust me. The bear fan says almost all veggies except onions, broccoli, cauliflower. Sorry, beets. And the bear fan says all fruits are good to me. Okay, so you can eat fruits and you can eat them raw, I'm assuming. Okay. I don't like cauliflower that much either, but if it's cooked, it's good. Like raw cauliflower and raw broccoli, I don't like, but cooked, it's okay. But yeah, so it sounds like you do eat a lot of veggies, just not beets. Just not our favorite veggie. Not our favorite veggie. But yeah, I was going to say before we started talking about boiled nuts. Fat Corn says beets with vinegar for me. So yeah, pickled beets, basically. Very good. Oh my god, Pete says, what's the beet for Jersey Girl bread shop? I mean, there's a beet in the oven right now. Beating away. Baking away and beating it up. I like beets all the time. I mean, I like beets in sweet foods. I like beets with my oatmeal. I put beet powder in my oatmeal. But you can do, like, if you want to try this, you don't have to get beet powder. I have it anyway for baking. But you could use, like, beets. Like, if I have a baked beet in the fridge, I'll put that in instead of the beet powder because it's cheaper and it's probably better for you anyway. But yeah, I use beet powder if I don't have that. And I also put beets like you saw in the bread pudding. The bear friend says only beets I like is in my music. And then the bear friend says she makes a beet pudding. And Fat Corn says my tractor tires are full of beet juice. Do you live on a farm or are you kidding, Fat Corn? Yeah, we put beets in the bread pudding. So I like the beet and chocolate combination. Yeah, I love beets. But you can also make pickled beets. I make pickled beets. And I also make a sauerkraut with the beet greens. So you don't throw out the beet greens. Use the beet greens. They are edible. And it's almost like spinach. They're a little delicate. And oh my god, Pete says, I remember your hands were purple from the beet you did a while back. Yeah, I think that was last week. Unless I did beets again. I probably did. Do it twice. But yeah, last week my beets, my hands were purple with the beet juice. And next, on Wednesday, they'll be purple again because we're making a beet horseradish sauce for the pumpernickel or the rye bread. Fat Corn says, I have a farm. Beet juice is weight ballast. I don't know what weight ballast means. But please let me know. I'm sorry, I don't know everything. But yes, that sounds good. I'm assuming that means you use the beet juice for some kind of purpose on the farm. Obviously, purpose. But yeah, good. I mean, beet juice is amazing. Obviously, it has so many uses, right? You can make sugar with beets too. Some of the granulated sugar is made with beet juice, but it's a special type of beet. It's sugar beets. The bear fence is weight distribution, so tractor does not lift or pop wheelies. Okay, thank you to Bear Fan. Okay, that sounds good. So look at that. Beet juice has so many uses. Beets have so many uses. Okay, they're magic. But yeah, I love beets. I think beets might be I don't know. It's hard to say. I think beets are my favorite vegetable that's actually a vegetable. And by that I mean not a fruit, because most veggies are fruits. We talked about this before. Like tomatoes are fruits. Everyone knows that one. Everyone knows the tomatoes are fruits thing because it was controversial like a few, I guess, years ago. Probably before I was born, it was controversial. And now we all know tomatoes are fruits. But also cucumbers are fruits, eggplants are fruits, corn are fruits. Did I say peppers already? Peppers are fruits. Um, zucchinis are fruits. Pumpkins are fruits. So almost everything's fruits. Oh my god, Pete says you created your own art on the wall. Your plant shows random, I know. Yeah, actually. So I know my sister was telling me, she's giving me tips, and nothing wrong with her tips. Her tips are very good. But she was telling me to decorate, and now I have decoration because of those shadows. So you can see those are you can see my parsley plants, and you can see my pepper plants in the shadow. And you can see a little bit of fig. Fig is getting very big. So that's good. Maybe it'll grow fig. I've had it for like 3 years, I think. 2 years, maybe. Fatcorn says you fill your tires with water for weight, but water isn't heavy enough on salts or sugars to dissolve and add saturated weight. I'm sorry, I'm done. I saw you and your hubby. Cute couple. Thank you, Fatcorn. I think we're cute too. You don't. I don't know why you're sorry though. Don't be sorry. I'm glad that you explained it because I wasn't sure. Well, the bear fan explains it a little bit, but you explained it further, so now I understand. So the salts and the sugars in the beet juice make it a little heavier, is what I'm understanding. It's just a miracle. Beet juice, what a miracle. Beets are amazing. I know some of you might not agree, but beets are amazing. When I have my own garden, outside garden, not like the inside one I have here, I will plant some beets and we'll have beets. We will have beets. Fatcorn, what kind of vegetables and fruits do you grow on your farm? You said you had a farm in quotes. What kind of farm is that, if you don't mind me asking? But yeah, like I was saying before, um, so next week will be the normal schedule, like Wednesday, Saturday. Wednesday, I'm going to be making the beet horseradish sauce, and we'll be eating on rye bread. Maybe if my I think my husband might be working, so it might just be me that day. I know that's not as exciting because my husband's great, but I'll eat that on stream and we'll chat. And then on Saturday, I'm not sure what I'm making on Saturday. Oh, is it Cinco de Mayo? I might have lied just to you. Yeah, I did. Okay, let's take a step back. So Wednesday will be normal, but I'm going to move next week's stream to Sunday because on Saturday I didn't realize what day it was. On Saturday I have something to do. So I'm moving it to Sunday. But what I wanted to talk about really briefly is I'm going to actually it started last week, but I wasn't sure if I would keep it. But I'm going to keep the stream time to 9 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. because I think more people are awake at that time anyway. A lot of you are in California, so it's really early for you. And another reason is because now we have longer days, so I'm not really worried about it getting dark at 5 p.m. anymore. So even if the sourdough takes a little longer to ferment, it's not that big of a deal. So I'll just move it permanently to 9 a.m. on the weekends. So yeah, so this week for oh my god, Pete said I saw your massive sourdough on your website. Oh my god, that looks beautiful. So, oh my God, Pete, you're in for a treat. That rhymes. So we're Dr. Seuss right now. You're in for a treat because this Sunday, my plan is to make the masa sourdough for Cinco de Mayo. Okay, so that was my plan. It is on my website. We actually made the masa sourdough on stream, like the first stream I ever did. But that stream is lost because I didn't save it. I was new to Twitch. I didn't know I had to like change my settings to save it. So the stream is lost, but it's okay because we're gonna do it again. And plus, most of you weren't here for that because it was like I said, it was my first stream, so you guys didn't know I existed. There were only a few people watching me. No one, no one knew I was streaming, except maybe some people from Instagram. My sister's friends probably were there. So we're gonna do it again, and it's gonna be fun. So we're gonna make masa sourdough. It's made with corn flour, but it's not just any corn flour. It's nixtamalized corn flour treated with lime, which is the same type of corn flour they use to make tortillas, corn tortillas. Some of you in Europe might have trouble finding it, but in the US, it's sold at normal grocery stores. Like where I am, it's sold in the grocery store, like regular one. If you have a Mexican grocery store, it'll be there too. But like I can get it at the regular one in the ethnic aisle, the ethnic or international aisle. It should be there. So we are going to make that. It's going to be a good time, a good Cinco de Mayo time. Maybe I'll brainstorm something else for us to do in the middle of, but in the resting period, in the fermentation period, that's related to Cinco de Mayo. There's some good stuff to do. I don't think my husband will be home for that day. He's probably be working, but I'm sure you guys already know this, that Cinco de Mayo is not really a big holiday in Mexico. I'm sure most of you know this already. It's a bigger holiday in the US, and maybe I think there's like one city in Mexico that celebrates it. So, but yeah, we'll still do something fun for Cinco de Mayo. Fatcorn says, I have a garden that's pretty big. Most of my place is woodland, products, and meadow. Thinking about horses. I think myself a ranch, but I'm not big enough. My brand is a Lazy K. I don't use it. Oh, I don't know what the brand of what is. Okay. That's awesome that you have a big garden. I want a big garden too, but it probably won't be as big as yours because unless I move, which, maybe we'll move to a different location, different city. That's not a city. But we live in a city, so it is urban where we live. It's kind of in between urban and suburban. Fatcorn says to mark animals. Oh, okay. So yeah, where we live, it's kind of between urban and suburban. So it's not like the best for if you want a lot of land. It would be expensive if you could find a lot of land. So, but I do want enough land to start a garden. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I want a garden. I want it all. That's all. I want it all. But no, when we move, we're gonna plant fig in our garden. Hopefully, he's getting pretty big, so might have to move soon just for the fig tree. For those of you who don't know, I have a fig tree in my house. No figs yet though, but he's good. I thought it was dead because it got a fungus last year, and from the mint plant, and it stopped growing, but he's back. He's back, baby. Fatcorn says, my land is an expensive kind of land. Yeah, didn't you say you lived in the South, Fatcorn? Yeah, in New Jersey, almost all land's expensive. But where we live is pretty expensive. We live fairly close to New York City, so you can imagine. It can get expensive here. But even a little farther, it's still expensive compared to other places in the US. I think New Jersey's one of the most expensive places to live. Unfortunately, it's where I was born, and most of my family lives here. But it is one of the most expensive places to live. Probably California is more expensive, but I don't know where else in the U.S. would be more expensive than that. Besides maybe actually New York City. And most of the well, I can't say that for sure. A lot of the houses though are two family houses. It's a little tricky. Fatcorn says, "I'm in Brooklyn and Western New Brook. I'm in Brooklyn and Western New York. It's like hillbillies." Fatcorn, Brooklyn is not like hillbillies. I think you mean New York State, right? Western New York State might be like, yeah, maybe New York State is kind of like that. Yeah, once you get outside of New York City and New York State, it does change a lot. I think I think New Jersey, like for state by state, New Jersey's more expensive than New York State. I'm fairly certain, not like I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm fairly certain New Jersey as a state is more expensive than New York State. But New York City, of course, is more expensive. But yeah, New Jersey, for some reason, it's very expensive. Yeah. Fatcorn says you get it. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I've been to upstate New York. There's actually some really nice places upstate New York. It's really beautiful, but it is more rural than where I am. Where I am is still pretty urban. It's where I am is like it's actually pretty close to Staten Island. So you can think of it kind of like Staten Island. I know everyone makes fun of Staten Island. Everyone hates Staten Island, but I don't. It's kind of like Staten Island or Brooklyn. I always think of like this part of New Jersey as like the sixth borough of New York City. Like if New York City had another borough, it would be here. It would be Hudson County, probably. But yes, yeah. This started because I was talking about having a garden if I had a house, which right now I live in an apartment. It's a nice apartment, and I'm very grateful to live here, but when I have a house, I'll have a garden. So that's why we're getting a house for the garden. Right, Munchkin? And for Fig. Right, Munch? Munchkin's sleeping. So yeah, I mean my plants are coming up well. My parsley is growing. I'm gonna have to take out the weaklings so the strong ones grow better. But other than that, I'm not growing anything new this year because I don't want any of my other plants to get sick. So I'm keeping it simple this year. We'll see what happens. I really want a lemon tree, but I have a fig tree, so I thought I would just keep it simple. I love my fig tree. But yeah, you guys doing it? I already asked like if you guys are cooking anything or meal prepping anything this week. Feel free to answer that question. But are you guys doing anything interesting this week? I mean, besides working and stuff, I know I'm working. I'm trying to think if I'm doing. Oh yeah, it's my friend's birthday party next weekend. We can talk about that next weekend on Cinco de Mayo. So that'll be fun. Fatcorn says waffles. What kind of waffles? Just regular waffles? I don't make waffles, and I have not that I don't like them. Of course, I like them, but I don't make waffles because it's like you need a waffle maker to make them. You need another gadget to make waffles. I don't like making things that I need a specific gadget to do. It turns me off of making it. I know I have a lot of gadgets for the bread, but I use them for other things, and I kind of got them gradually as I got into making bread. You don't need them to make bread, but the waffle, I feel like you need a waffle maker for. Fatcorn says it's one of those flippy cookers, like the ones like that. They look fun. I mean, they do. Oh my god, Pete says just live life and game is what I did. I mean, that's good. Oh my god, Pete says I love flapjacks. Yeah, flapjacks like pancakes, right? Yeah, pancakes are easy. I like pancakes too. Let out your hairball munch. Oh my god, Pete says hotcakes, pancakes. Yes. Oh my god, Pete, what do you call them? Do you call them flapjacks, hotcakes, or pancakes? Where I am in Jersey, we call them pancakes. Um, flapjack. Like I know what if you said it something else, I would know what you meant. Like if you said flapjacks, I'd know what you meant. But we don't usually call them flapjacks. We usually call them pancakes. Oh my god, Pete says I call them flapjacks. Is it a regional thing or just a you thing? Oh my god, Pete. Is it just you calls them flapjacks or everyone in your area calls them flapjacks? So, yeah. What are we? I already think I told you what I'm making. Oh, I am going to. Oh my god, Pete says it's a me thing. Okay, that's cool. That's cute. Fat Corn says McDonald's calls them hotcakes because they're special. They're special. They call them hotcakes. So, I'm going to make strata next week, not on stream, but maybe eventually I make that on stream. So a strata is like a lasagna. It's a bread casserole, basically. So I was gonna say it's like a lasagna, but with bread, but it's not with red sauce. It's with usually with eggs. It's like a breakfast casserole, but I use mung beans instead of eggs. I don't use eggs, obviously. But yeah, we're going to do a pumpkin strata because I have some pumpkin that I have to use up. So I know it's not pumpkin season, but it's always pumpkin season in this house. Oh my god, Pete says at restaurants they look at me like, what is that? So I have to say pancakes. It's a Gen X thing. People now will never know. A Gen X thing? Huh. I don't know. Why is it a Gen X thing? Is it like some show that I missed? I'm a millennial. So, in case you guys are wondering how old I am, I'm a millennial. Um, so there's that. Oh, you mean the Flapjack cartoon? Fatcorn says, I used to watch the Flapjack cartoon. I remember the Flapjack cartoon, but I don't think that's why. I don't think that's enough to start calling pancakes flapjacks. I don't think it computes, doesn't go 1-to-1. But yeah, I remember the Flapjack cartoon. I feel like that was more of a millennial thing. Because I think Gen Xers would have been too old for that when it came out. Maybe. Maybe. But you're never too old for cartoons. Maybe. Maybe you are. For certain cartoons, I guess you can get too old for. But Fatcorn says lumberjacks eat flapjacks. 100% true. And my parents called it flapjacks and it grew on me. Okay. I'm still not sure why it's Gen X thing though. I'm wondering. But yeah, my favorite cartoons, besides, not to get controversial here, guys. Actually, I'll tell you when I get back. So now I heard the beep, and I'm going to just take the bread out of the take the pan out of the oven, take off the lid, and then put it back in. And I'm going to lower the temperature to 420, and then 20 more minutes in there. Oh my god, Pete says people in the 70s and 80s called it that. I'll have to look into this because now I'm really curious about the flapjack thing. I'm really, really curious. Okay, I will be right back. Fatcorn says, my dad is Gen X and he says all types of weird stuff. Yeah, my parents are young baby boomers. Young baby boomers. So I don't know a lot of Gen Xers, but that I know of. But I'll be right back. It's beeping at me again. Hello, I am back. And so the bread's in the oven. 20 more minutes uncovered at 420. So then it'll be done and I'll show it to you. We won't cut into it today, but you saw already what it looks like when it's cut into, and I'll take pictures and put them on Discord and my other socials too. So you guys can see them. Here are my socials, by the way, because not only am I on Discord, I'm on a bunch of socials, right? Instagram is the one I'm probably the most active on. Oh my God, Pete says, when are you pickling stuff? We actually pickled peppers last week into this week. We used the fermented peppers. We did a natural pickling with fermentation, and last week we started it, and this week we finished it, and we made it into hot sauce. Oh my God, Pete says, I missed it then. You can go back and rewatch some of the clips. But basically, I have the fermentation crock still here. I use this to ferment them, to ferment the peppers. And so I did this last week. I put all the peppers in here. Then today I opened it up for you guys, and we put it into the blender. Yeah, it's really nice fermentation crock. If you like fermenting, this is a smaller one too. They make really big ones, but we don't need that. As much as I like pickles, I don't need it. I think this is from Stony Creek. I think it's the name of the brand. And it's really cool because it has a moat on the top, and it seals it. So it's really nifty if you want to avoid like mold and cam yeast, which we had a little bit of a cam yeast problem today, which is not a big deal. It's not toxic or anything. It's yeast. It's not mold, so you can eat it, but it might change the flavor and texture of your pickle, so you don't want too much. But yeah, the moat helps protect against that. I opened it yesterday, and I think that's why it developed some cam yeast. But yeah, these are really cool. And so yeah, today we made it into hot sauce. But we will pickle more. We will definitely pickle more. I don't know when. I can't tell you exactly when. But if you have any suggestions, write it out here or put it in Discord. I have a suggestions tab. I put some stuff in the suggestions tab, which you guys can comment on whether or not you think it's a good suggestion. But it's not really a tab for me to write in, even though I'll keep writing in them. This way, when I think of an idea, I put it in there so I don't forget. And that way you guys can comment on it if you think it's a good idea too. But it's really for you guys to give me suggestions. So if you have a suggestion for something we should try to pickle, we can pickle it. We can attempt it. So yes, here's our pickle jar. We can pickle. We can pickle things in here. So yeah, we could do. I mean, I do pickled beets a lot. I do sauerkraut. I do fermented cranberries. We can also do quick pickles. Like I do quick pickled onions so much. I love quick pickled onions. And quick pickle, we don't have to ferment. We can just use vinegar. So we can do both methods. You know, show you how to do both methods. So that'll be fun. Fermented tea. Fatcorn says I tried to make fermented tea. Is that kombucha? And the SCOBY thing was so gross. I buy it bottled now from the store. So I don't use a SCOBY when I ferment. But this is such a good topic, actually. It could be a whole stream. I don't use SCOBYs, okay? I think that's specifically for certain ferments that need help getting started. But mine develops natural bacteria in the ferment. So all I did last week was I put my peppers in here. I put a brine of salt water on top of them. I added some sugar to the brine, but you don't have to. And then I just put the weights on and I sealed it up and I waited a week. And that was it. I didn't have to deal with the SCOBY. I didn't have to buy any special, starter bacteria. What happens is there's natural bacteria in the air and there's natural bacteria in the peppers, and that's going to build up in here, the good bacteria. You need salt in the brine to keep the mold and bad bacteria at bay, and then you just let the good bacteria take over, and that's going to ferment it. So you don't need a SCOBY for that. I've never tried to make kombucha, so I can't give you any advice on that. On that, I agree. I've seen the SCOBY before, and I think it's gross. But I also don't like kombucha. I think it's gross. My husband likes it. I don't like it. Not my cup of tea. I know it's literally tea, but it's not my cup of tea. So yeah, but we'll do more fermenting in here. Bless you. That's my cat. Bless you. So yeah. We will do more fermenting in here. I love fermenting things. It's so much fun, and it preserves fruits and vegetables. Like, I ferment cranberries and I leave them in the fridge forever, pretty much. That might sound crazy, but cranberries are so sour, and then once you ferment them in a salt brine, it's just gonna last forever. It's so acidic that it lasts forever. It continues to ferment slowly because I keep it in the brine, so it changes flavor a little bit, but it's fine. So yeah, fermentation is a good way to preserve foods. If you don't have a big freezer, like I don't have a big freezer, it's good. Careful. So yeah, we will ferment more things. We'll pickle more things. I love doing that. I can't say when. Maybe we'll do something next week when we make the masa sourdough. We could. That's a good thing to do. We can pickle some onions or something. I'll think of some things to do. That's on topic of Cinco de Mayo. But yeah, what I was saying earlier was that I'm on all those socials up there. You can still see them in the chat. So I'm on YouTube. I usually just post videos of the VODs. I want to post more videos though. A few months ago, I was posting shorts and stuff, but I ran out of time to do all of that. But hopefully when I'm done with the semester, I'll have a little bit more time. Maybe I won't. I always think I'll have more time than I do. But I want to start doing more stuff like that. But for now, I just post the VODs up there. I'm probably most active on Instagram. On Instagram, I post pictures of what I bake. I post things in my stories. I post updates about the stream. I also post updates about the stream on Twitch stories, but a lot of you don't look at that. I feel like most people don't look at the Twitch stories, which is okay, but I'll still post updates on there. And then on Pinterest, if you guys are interested in my recipes, like you want to recreate some stuff we do on here, go to my Pinterest. That's basically all for recipes. And all the links go back to my website where all my recipes are. Fatcorn says pickled onion for a Gibson. What's a Gibson? I don't know what that is. But yes, pickled onions. I put that on a lot of sandwiches. I put them on which is why I was thinking of doing it. Oh my God, Pete asked about pickles. And I make pickled onions quite a lot, so I know I'll eat them up right away. And next week, since I'm making the masa sourdough, with that sourdough, I usually like to make this mushroom mole situation that I put on it and make a sandwich, it's a messy sandwich, but it's so good. And I usually put pickled onions on that sandwich. I put pickled onions on a lot of sandwiches, but that one it's almost like a requirement. It has to have pickled onions. So we could do that. Oh my God, Pete says that sounds yummy. I've eaten on stream before too, but we're going to eat it again on stream. Okay? The Bear Fan says, did they make Twitch stories available on PC? I think that's the problem, the Bear Fan. I don't think you can see them on the computer. I think you can only see them on your phone. which might be why no one sees them. I mean, I'll keep posting them because I think it's just polite to post on your stories when sorry, the squirrels distract me. To post on your stories so like people can see what's going on if they so choose to, because some people don't have like Instagram and all this other stuff. A lot of people don't like having too much social media, and I understand that. So if they're just on Twitch, I want them to be able to see like what's going on. But if you're not just on Twitch, my Instagram's probably my most busy social media platform, but I'm also on like the other ones that I mentioned. And the Bear fans, last I read, stories are only available on the Twitch mobile app. Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? I guess a lot of people don't use the Twitch mobile app, but I use it and I post stories on there. So if you guys want to know what's going on, it'll be in the stories, but it'll also be on Discord, on Instagram, on YouTube. I'll post an update. So yeah, we were talking about cartoons. Fatcorn says I only use my phone. So Fatcorn, you'll be able to see the stories on your phone. You most definitely will. Oh yeah, we're talking about a lot of things. We're talking about scobies. Scobies are gross. But before that, we're talking about cartoons. And I remember I was going to give my controversial take, which is a cartoon that I do like. So cartoons that I like South Park. That's controversial. And I also like Adventure Time. Are there any other ones that I would like watch? I feel like no. There you have it. South Park and Adventure Time. I will watch both of those cartoons happily and enjoy them. They might seem like opposites, but there's some overlap. There's some overlap. My favorite bit in South Park is when Chef's parents, I think it's the episode where Chef marries the succubus, and Chef's parents are telling the children how the Loch Ness monster always tries to trick them out of $2.50, meaning $2.50. So I like that bit. I'm not going to explain why I like it. Go and watch it. I'm not even going to imitate it. It's funny. And it's funny because why would the Loch Ness Monster need $2.50? And how is the Loch Ness Monster dressing up? Because the Loch Ness Monster would dress up into disguises to trick them? How is that even possible? So I thought that was funny when I was a kid. This episode is so old. I thought it was funny when I was a kid, and I still think it's funny. Like when we play the clip, my husband will sometimes play the clip because he knows I'll start laughing so hard I'm like crying, and he thinks it's funny that I think it's funny. So you guys gotta just, if you don't know that clip or that scene, go watch it. It's just so many gold moments I don't know, like I haven't seen a lot of the new episodes, so I don't know when it stopped being as good. I really can't keep track of that, but I'm just gonna say like the original kind of first few seasons, there's so many golden moments. But some of the later seasons have gold moments too, but the original ones are just so good. Fatcorn says my brother's like South Park, not really me. Steven Universe or Total Drama Island. Yeah, my sister likes Steven Universe. I don't know much about Total Drama Island. I remember it being popular, but I don't remember it much. My sister likes Steven Universe. Another controversial take, I really don't like Steven Universe, but you're entitled to like Steven Universe, of course. We might just have different tastes in cartoons, which is normal. But my sister tried to make me watch it. Well, not tried to make me watch it, but tried to get me into it because she said it's like Adventure Time. And I watched it and I just don't think it's like Adventure Time. I really don't think it is. Okay, I think just the style of animation is different, the writing style is different, the characterization is different. Like there's a lot of, it's very serious sometimes. I know Adventure Time can get serious, but it was just the tone was different. Didn't like it. But it has, like, to me, Steven Universe didn't have a goofy enough tone. Whereas Adventure Time has a very goofy tone, and those are usually the best episodes. And of course, South Park is goofy. It's just out of this world, goofy, ridiculous. So yeah, yeah. But Fat Corn, I don't know how old you are, Fat Corn. I'm not going to guess, but I think you said you were younger. I don't remember. So maybe you were too old or too young for South Park because when I was 8 or so, like 8 or 9, is when South Park was really popular. I was like too young to be watching it, but my mom let me watch it anyway because I would do that. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. I'm just saying she let me watch it. I was way too young to watch it, but yeah. So I kind of grew up watching it, so it might be different for me. I could see why it's off-putting to some people, but I think it's hilarious, and I still do. I did when I was a kid, and now I think it's more funny now. So because I get the jokes more. So, but yeah, it's my controversial take on cartoons. Please don't unfollow, unsubscribe. I know the beat thing. I know the beat thing might be a little hard to pass by that I put beets in pudding and tofu in pudding, but now the South Park thing is too much. Fatcorn says, I'm still too young for South Park. I'm not gonna guess how old you are, Fatcorn. I don't want to know, but something you said made me think maybe you were younger than I am, and I know I was young when South Park came out. So, or when it was really popular, and so I didn't even get the jokes when I was 8. But my mom let me watch. Let me watch. But other than that, I guess I don't watch too much TV, which I think is good. But I was watching for a while. Sometimes my husband and I will pick a show to watch together, like an episode or two a day, or like when we have time. We haven't been doing that though. Maybe we'll get back to Adventure Time. We stopped at Adventure Time. But we were watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for a while because I thought I might like that show, but I never seen it. But, a lot of people say it's funny. And, I like The Office and stuff like that. So maybe I thought I'd like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And yes, I like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. At least, I think we got to season 6. Oh my god, Pizza's Twitch starts YouTube is my TV. Yeah, a lot of times that's what I use for TV too instead of, which is a bad habit, honestly. It's still a bad habit. TV's a bad habit, and so is that. So, not saying you shouldn't be watching me on Twitch. I'm just kidding. I do think it could be a bad habit, just like watching TV. But we were watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and it's very funny. It's if you guys haven't watched it, if you guys like South Park and The Office and like kind of like situational comedy that's not politically correct, you will like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's so great. The first 6 seasons, at least, were really great. Really hysterical. Yeah, I won't mention too much about it, but it's good. Right, Munch? Yeah, I think for a lot of people, social media is the new TV, and I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. TV is addictive, but so is social media. I talk about that a lot on here. Even though we're on social media while I'm talking about it, I still think social media can be used for good, but it can't. It's like can also be used for bad, right? It could be used too much. Oh my god, Pete says I forgot how much longer for the bread. So it just beeped, by the way. If you guys didn't hear it, it just beeped. So I'm gonna go take it out now. It was 20 minutes in there. So I'm gonna take it out now and show it to you guys. So the Bear Fan, that's true. The Bear Fan says at least social media is what you make it and not what the cable company feeds you. So you get to be more selective what you're viewing. And yeah, and the Bear Fan, yeah, social media is usually free. Yeah. So that's true. There's a plus, but it is addictive. There's problems with social media. But yeah, let me go get it. It's beeping at me a few times. So I'm gonna go get it out of the oven, and then we are going to look at it and go, ooh, ah, look how pretty. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh my god, Pete says, I know the bread is going to look yummy. And Fatcorn says, I'm babysitting my little brother and he has a Frigidaire and you when you keep when you beep, I think it's me. Sounds exactly the same. What's like a refrigerator? Frigidaire? Like a refrigerator? Bless you, Munchkin. Yeah, so here's the bread. It looks like yesterday's bread. It has like a little knob on it because it tried to escape. This piece was like wants to escape. But other than that, it looks the same. Looks like a giant cookie. It's so cute. So yeah, and it smells really good. Fatcorn says all the appliances, the oven. So your little brother, who you're babysitting, has an oven? Like maybe a play oven? Fatcorn says nice. Yeah, it is nice. So we're gonna let this cool. Well, I am. You won't be here. It says to let it cool for 24 hours. Or it says, but wisdom says to let rye bread cool for 24 hours. So I will let it cool for at least 12. Well, probably for more than 24 hours because I have that other rye bread open. But for those of you who weren't here, I'll show you the rye bread I made yesterday and that we opened up today. We cut up today. So they're almost the same. Yeah, they're almost the same. I think this one came out a little bigger. Yeah, I don't think you have to wait 24 hours. Oh my god, Pete. I really think you can wait like 12 hours, but it just helps with the crumb. The crumb did come out really nice on this one. Well, that's why I have this one. So I have a stunt double. But the crumb came out really nice on this one. I think waiting really did help because I do think the crumb came out nicer than it usually does, honestly. So I think being patient is really important. Yeah, so the crumb came out really nice on this guy. Yeah. Yeah, so that's really good. So yeah, this is the one we made yesterday. And so like I said before, it's not great for sandwiches, although you could try. It's better for like toast and open face sandwiches, which I believe is what it's used for in Finland, where it's more traditional type of bread in Finland. They even have a name for it. I forgot the name for it, but there's a name for the open face sandwiches that they eat. in Scandinavia. So, and that's what we're gonna do next week. We're gonna make like an open fate, like a toast, essentially, with it. So next week, as in Wednesday, our midweek toast segment on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, where I show you how to make something that we can put on the toast. That's usually what we do. I think we do that every week. I don't know. Maybe one week I did something different. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, I want to say that again. Fatcorn says, I love toast. I love toast too, Fatcorn. I love toast too. I eat it every day. I want to mention again, if you have any suggestions, please let me know on Discord. There's a tab or a channel just for suggestions, because most of the things that I've made on here have been suggestions. The mango bread was a suggestion. The hot sauce was kind of a suggestion. You guys reminded me of it. I forgot what else was. Oh, ciabatta was a suggestion. Like almost everything I've done here is suggestions. So if you guys want to see something made, just let me know. I of course have a bunch of ideas of things to make, but you know, I always like getting new ideas. I love that. So hit me up on Discord for the suggestions. But before we leave, I did want to mention like a few more things about the bread that I mentioned earlier, but you know, we went kind of fast. So the rye bread, I wanted to do this 100% rye because it was something that we haven't really done before, and the technique is so different. So the technique for this bread is to have a large pre-ferment. So if you guys were here in the beginning, in the morning, oh no, it's not morning anymore. The morning, like 9 a.m., you probably saw that we had a large pre-ferment and you heard me talk about it. Oh my God, Pete says brioche buns. We have to do that. That's on my list of things to do, is enriched bread. Enriched bread is annoying. I think it's annoying to make by hand, and I do everything by hand. I don't have a mixer right now, but I do it. I do make enriched dough. So we're going to have to do that, enriched dough. Yeah, it's better if you have a mixer, and I'll even tell you the day we do it. I say this is how you do it by hand, but if you have a mixer, it'd be better. Pete knows. Fatcorn says Pete knows. Basically, this method is just with a large pre-ferment, right? And because we had a large pre-ferment, it means that a lot of the dough was fermented for like over 24 hours. And then that improves the texture of the rye is what happens. So then when it comes time to ferment it today, all of it fermented overnight, right? It didn't take very long. What we fermented today only took like 2 hours. Usually my fermentations take like 4 to 6 hours. So it's just a method to improve the texture of rye. Rye, if we fermented it the same way we fermented the other doughs, it would be a sticky texture. It would be gummy. It would not be good. But there are methods to improve the texture, and that's one method to improve the texture. It's also the first bread we made on here that was 100% whole grain. So I did want to show you that you can make 100% whole grain loaves. They do come out different. And we'll do it, you know, as time goes on, we'll do other 100% whole grain loaves, and you'll see. But each one, it does come out different than if you mix in bread flour. Bread flour helps it get a nice rise. It helps it like a sturdy not texture, but structure. It gives it a sturdy structure to give it a nice rise. So that's bread flour is really good to use for that. But if you just want like 100% whole grain bread because you're like, I want to be healthy, I don't want to have any bread flour. I don't think bread flour is really bad for you, but of course, whole grain is better. Whole grain is superior, right, in terms of health. Then you can do it. So I wanted to show you that you can do that too. So this was slightly different. So I don't want to do the same thing every week. So that's why I was like, let's do this. This is different. So I hope you guys enjoyed making rye bread. I'm going to post it on my website maybe tomorrow because I've been website. So if you check out jerseygrillbreadshop.com, that's my website. You can look under recipes to see my recipe blog. And I already have a lot up there. Like I have the 40% rye, which is the sandwich rye, and that's really good for sandwiches if you just want. And that one is with 40% rye flour and 60% bread flour. And you'll see the difference. If you add in bread flour to the mix, you're going to get a sturdier loaf that holds its shape better, right? And is fluffier. So obviously it's a big difference, but both are really delicious for different purposes, is what I think. So I'll post this on there too, probably tomorrow. I've been doing pretty good at posting the next day. So if you guys want to recreate what we do here, you have the ability to do that. If you don't, that's okay too. But if you guys are into baking and you want to try to recreate anything, you can. If you don't have a sourdough starter, I also have a method for creating your own sourdough starter on my blog as well. Because everything on there is with sourdough. So if you guys are like, oh, I don't have a sourdough starter, but you're interested in it, go and check that out. I make my sourdough with starter with rye too, because rye has so many good nutrients for the starter and helps get it started, and it also is beneficial for the no discard method. So I go ahead and try it. Like again, I said it's no discard, which means the sourdough starter that I use, I don't discard it every time I feed it. So you don't have a bunch of discard. It's going to be good. Backhorn says turtle shell bread looking loaf. Cool, dude. Yeah, it looks like a giant cookie. It looks like a giant molasses cookie. But it doesn't taste like a cookie. It definitely doesn't because it's not sweet. It's like sour. It's savory. It's really good. It's my kind of molasses cookie. But yeah, if you guys want to recreate it, this bread's really easy, especially for a whole grain. I mean, the dough is like sticky and weird, but the process is easy, especially for a whole grain loaf. You know, usually whole grain loaves are harder to work with. This is super easy to work with. So there you have it. Again, I'll put my socials on here. Yeah, it's a normal loaf. It's a normal cookie. I'm just tiny. Thank you, oh my god, Pete. Before we go, though, let's see if anyone is streaming. Do I have it open? Let's see if anyone's streaming that we can... How many people do we have watching me? How many people are still here? I don't know why I can't tell. Oh, 3. Okay, that's good. Oh, you have a suggestion. Claire Coffee, what is she streaming? I always like suggestions from you guys. Oh, she's cooking. Sprig gnocchi. Okay, I'll pause that right now. Let me come back to you guys. Bye, Faghorn. Bye, have fun. Okay, so we're gonna lose one person, but that's okay. I think we're just going to, what's that called? Raid. Claire Coffee. If you guys don't want to stick around for the raid, I understand, but I'll still do it, even if there's only me raiding. Okay, let's try raiding Claire Coffee, and if you guys want to leave, that's okay, but we'll just raid her really quick. Thank you, oh my god, Pete, for the suggestion. So I'm gonna go. Okay, so we're gonna start the raid now. Thank you guys, everyone, for coming, and hopefully I'll see everyone on Wednesday. If not, just, check back in to see when we're streaming. I'm gonna go to the raid now. Bye, everyone. See you at the raid.